And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day here, another day of the HomeStory Cup. HomeStory Cup 28 Revelation Retaker. No longer group stage, the playoffs, baby. Here we go. Over the past week, we've been catching up with the group stage of HomeStory Cup. The group stage has been finalized, and now we are going to be jumping into the playoffs. Let's go, let's go. We have made it here into the playoffs. We have our top players here of the tournament, and give us a moment here to set things up to showcase the upcoming matches, the upcoming bracket as well. Bearing in mind, for this event, it is going to be double elimination as the double elimination tournament. Just bear that in mind. It is going to be double elimination, and we do have the top players of the event. Here we go. Bam. Let's switch our seats over and catch up on the bracket. From the top, we have our top 8. So it's going to be top 8. Top 8 did make it through into the playoffs. Double elimination. We do have Zound versus Hero Marine versus Big Gabe. We have Showtime versus SOS in PvP. We have Clem versus Lamb on a TVZ, and we have Serral versus Reynor in a ZVZ. No shot. Now, what is brutal as well, it is quote-unquote double elimination starting from the top 4. So because of that, the first round is single elimination, and that is brutal here. What were the seedings? I mean, I say what were the seedings, it's also on Reynor. If you remember, Reynor, he did actually come second in his group, second to Showtime. Because of that, we have Serral versus Reynor in the first round. Like, that is how the seedings did turn out, and that is brutal for Reynor. I mean, brutal for both of them, really. Like, these are the top 2 Zerg players in the world, and one of them is out in the top 8, or in the round of 8. So again, crazy seeding, crazy setup there in the quarterfinals. When it comes to the other matches here, I am looking forward to Zound versus Hero Marine. As I've said during the group stage, Zound, I'm still on the fence about his current state of play because he's very inactive when it comes to online tournaments and weekly open cups as well. So I'm not too sure how to play Zound. Gabe may have actually a strong showing there and a strong chance. Likewise, Clem versus Lamb is going to be a lot of fun, and SOS versus Showtime, I'm sure, is going to be very chaotic as well. So we do have our initial 4 best of 5s. The way that we split this up here is we're going to have 3 days of HomeStory Cup. Day 1 of the playoffs, I should say. Day 1 is going to be the upper bracket quarterfinals. Bearing in mind, this is purely best of 5s. Day 2 is going to be upper bracket semis and lower bracket semis, and then day 3 is going to be the upper bracket finals, lower bracket finals, and grand finals. So again, 3 days of StarCraft. Typically, the way that the main event did handle this is they had a B stream, so they could run multiple series at once. We don't have that luxury. We're going to be covering every single match ourselves. Let's go, baby, let's go. Up first is going to be Zound versus Big Gabe. We'll start from top to bottom. Bear that in mind. So we're going to be starting with a Big Gabe versus Zound. We'll be ending with Serral versus Reynor. Oh boy. And game 1 is going to be on White Rabbit. Oh, so yes. Buenos dias. Good evening, good morning. Buenos dias. Si Setsuna, Slow Joe. Big Stick as well. Bienvenidos as we jump into our initial series, as we jump into game 1. And spawning in the top right hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the German Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Mouse. It is Hero Marine. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss representing Team Vitality. It is Zound. Here we go, jumping into our initial series here, and then coming into this, as I mentioned briefly earlier, I don't really know how to place Zound at the moment. Zound is one of the best Protoss players, or one of the best players in the world, that is true, but his current form, his current state of play is still a little bit more ambiguous to me, just because of his inactivity, just because he has not been competing in as many tournaments, so it's a little bit harder to judge his current skill level. If it was in tip-top shape, I would favor him over Gabe, but currently I'm not as confident making that statement. Gabe has been looking very strong, especially in the group stage as well, so we'll see how the two compare. We shall see. So for the time being, we do have a single gas opener, single gas out of Gabe, going for a Rax expand, economic start out of our Terran player. Meanwhile, Zound just opening up standard on his own side of the map. Everything's looking normal for the time being. Now, typically, we should be expecting aggression out of our Terran player. Gabe is very fond of mid-game aggression against Protoss. Not really one to slow the game down too much. Can get there, of course, if need be, but we should be expecting some earlier mid-game shenanigans, or again pushes, aggression out of Gabe. Now, probe does delay the expansion. Yeah, it does delay by a couple of seconds. And does force down an SCV. back at him down, throwing down his own Nexus. So both players are going to be expanding. A bit of annoyance out of the probe, but nothing too major here. Yeah, nothing major. Meanwhile, Marine first into Reactor behind this. Should be building up his bio. Bearing in mind that Hero Marine, he did skip his SCV Scout, and he also skipped the Reaper Scout, as there is no Reaper here. It's very common. It's very common in TVP, especially at the highest level, to cut those corners. There's no real need to scout early on, just because there's a very high chance your opponent is playing standard. It is more uncommon for there to be shenanigans early on from the Protoss player, and Gabe can always scout nearby at the 3rd and 4th locations, just in case there may be a proxy. Gabe is just building up. Typically, scout information is gathered once we get into our drop play. So, racks into factory, into starport, into said drop. From Zound, we have our tech of choice. Going to be a Twilight Council opener out of Zound, opening up into Blink. Assuming Blink. Technically, you can go into charge, but we would expect that on smaller maps. So it should be Blink, and we'll keep an eye on the gateways. First Stalker has arrived, no safety bunker on the low ground, and with that, mining is going to be delayed. But no major kills. No kills, no pickoffs. See Gabe still building up his Marines, ideally trying to catch out that Stalker. Oh, now there's an Adept. But at least the army got here a little bit late. What I mean by that, on smaller maps, the Stalker and Adept could get here to delay the CC. Thankfully, CC is not delayed. Ooh, 1 Marine gets picked up. 2 Marines. 2 Marines go down. You can see shields have been stripped from both gateway units. And now Gabe breaks out. It breaks out, opening up Cyclone behind this as well. The Cyclone will shut this down, and Gabe should be able to maintain his natural. So far, pretty clean defense out of our Terran. So far, so good. Meanwhile, across the map, there's Blink. So we have Blink, we have extra gateways. Interesting. Because this map is a little bit larger, I would have expected to have seen a bit of a greedier build out of Zound, as he does get caught out. But no, Zound is playing safe. We have 1 gateway at the natural, we have 2 gateways in the main, 3 gate Blink out of Zound into a Robo as well. It's a very safe play here from our Protoss player. Going for a more delayed expansion. Oh, and here Marine behind this does go for not just the add-on swap, he does go for his tech lab in his factory into tank production. We do have a Banshee play as well here out of Gabe, so that much more committed here. Of course, eventually we'll get into the main base with said Banshee. The Cyclone also shocking around, checks for the 3rd base location, confirms there is no 3rd. So based on this information, as Gabe does check the other 3rd base location, he confirms, okay, it's either 3 gate Blink or 4 gate Blink Stalker. It's one or the other, either a safer build or a more aggressive build. So Gabe is setting up. He's racing back home. He's now where the Zound was not being greedy. And he's getting ready. He's getting ready. Zound does move out across the map. Ideally, just to poke away at the army. Banshee threatening the main base. Zound is in position. Didn't scout the tech earlier, but he is ready in the main, and he will snipe the first Banshee. Yeah, late reaction out of Gabe. He committed. Banshee goes down for 1 probe. Not worth it for the Terran. Meanwhile, Gabe moves out to get spotted. Okay, he is spotted. Tanks are exposed as well, and Gabe is being torn apart. He was going to lose the tank. Yeah, 1 more shot. Tank goes down, but miscontrol 1 Stalker is thrown away, but that is still worth it for Zound. As they'll snipe 1 tank, delays the push, snipe the Banshee as well, lost 1 probe, but so far Zound is all over Gabe. And these have been some rough losses. Now, thankfully for Gabe, Zound went 3 gates. If Zound was going 4 gate Blink into a Prism, into a committed push across the map, Gabe would just be dead. Because he's down to 1 tank, he's out in the open, he would have lost his tank as well, and then we could just get pushing. Snowball out of control. So thankfully Zound isn't too committed. Banshee does get across the map. Getting 3, getting 4 probe kills, not bad. Getting into 5, late reaction out of Zound. Yeah, Zound was focusing elsewhere, going for the Raven. Ooh, Raven gets sniped. Yeah, Raven is sniped, I believe, another tank as well. You have a tank and a Raven in the main. It's going to be a one-way trip, though. Tries to recall. Does save his 3 Stalkers. But the Banshee is still wreaking havoc here. Jesus. So it's 3 stalkers and so far 6, sorry, I should say so far 8 probes for what? For a tank, a Raven, 6 SCVs. A bit of a back and forth trade here. In the end, Zan, he will defend. The problem here is that here Marine, he lost 2 tanks. He has no pushing power. Not anymore. He is stuck at home. He's stuck at home. Banshee was just sniped, which means no more Banshees. In the end, were the Banshees worth it? Killed, was it 6 probes? No, 8 probes towards the end. It's okay damage. Not ideal for 2 cloak Banshees, but at least here Marine achieved something. But from here, the game will slow down. The game is slowing down. Zan should be thinking about a 4th base. There it is. He's not just thinking about it. So 4th base is on the way. We have Colossi on the way as well. Gabe is looking to be active. His first 2 medevacs have finally arrived. And now he can stay more freely. Ooh, the observer, sorry, the army does run in. They do meet each other. Zan spots some move outs. Wants that Cyclone, doesn't quite get it. Ooh. Yeah, bleeding out a Stalker. Gabe is sharking around. Zan is keeping up with the rotations, and as Gabe postures, saturating his 3rd. He's building up to 3 bases. So far, economically, he's holding his own. It's still quite tense. Army gets spotted. Ooh, and Gabe's going for it. Yeah, he's going for the dive. We'll see if Zan can collapse in. We'll see if he wants to. Trying to get on top of the tank. Better positioning. Very nice concave by Gabe. Oh my god. Yeah, the spread was insane. He punishes the Zealots. And as Zealots go down, this army here from Zan is so vulnerable, so fragile. He's going for it though. Does get the tank, okay. Tank gets picked up, he's got his double Colossus, the army's overstimmed, and Zan holds. Does hold on. Picking up a couple of Marauders in the retreat. Got some reinforcements on the way. Gabe is still pushing in. And with Vikings and tanks trying to catch up this army, it's going to be close. The army here is still deep in the red for Gabe. Yeah, a couple of Colossal swipes and the army is going down. And Marines, Marauders. Oof. Still does catch a Colossus. Gets one. And Gabe can barely keep pushing. And he's still moving in. And this is a very messy fight. Very, very messy. On the one hand, Zan, he lost a Colossus. Gabe lost his tanks. Gabe still has a little bit more momentum, though. He wants that Colossus. He wants it. Still rallying more in. 4 CCs on the way. Now, what I will say after the armies do clash, they traded with each other. Zan did lose a little momentum himself, and that means that Gabe can now start to freely look to expand. Now, when it comes to generalizations here about TVP, we do bring this up quite often. In Terran versus Protoss, when we get into the mid game, when we get into the late game, a lot of this does rely on the Terran player getting a 4th and getting a 5th base. These expansions do provide some big power spikes to the Terran. Typically, traditionally, the Protoss should have map control and Zan should be able to mass expand. That is not really the case here this game. The Protoss does need more bases than the Terran to be able to keep up and then eventually overwhelm with a cheaper, with a more inefficient army. But again, Zan, he's a little bit late to react and respond with the 5th base just because he has to rebuild his main army. So he's stuck rebuilding. Gabe is getting his 4th ready. Zan now takes the 5th base. But I'm concerned with Zan. I'm concerned. Thankfully for Zan, here at Marine, he just completely backs off, and we do have a Growth Academy on the way. So Academy, do have another Starport, Interfusion Core. Gabe, he's turtling up. He's turtling up. Not the easiest to do so here on White Rabbit. Does expand forward towards his opponent. Areas here can be abused. We did see that from Cristiano, if you recall. We casted Cristiano versus Gabe in the group stage on this very map, and Cristiano did actually defeat Gabe, did bring him down, partially because of how open this area is in between the 3rd and 4th. Cristiano, who was so good at applying pressure and just abusing this. I will say that Xian has slowed down quite heavily here compared to Cristiano. Cristiano, he would just be in Gabe's face non-stop. Xian did give him time. As well, they do try to slip by. So they try to, they do. SV's going to be going down. Main army does rush in. The planetary is done. We have a siege line behind this as well. Gabe's holding. Oh, does overextend though. Yeah, big overextension. Throws away a chunk of supply. And Marines and Marauders are all going to be shut down. But there are no Zealots. Oh my god. Where are the Zealots? Yeah, without charge, else we cannot collapse on the tanks. We cannot push forward. Xian is struggling. And Gabe doesn't just hold, he takes a better fight. He takes a much better fight here. Again, Xian is just trying to brute force his way through the main army. There are other angles of attack. There is and Gabe is going to be the first to max. He's almost there. Now, this is why I'm starting to be concerned for Xian. So the correct way to play this out for Gabe, which is what he's doing, is Turtle. Turtle, defend. Your opponent is going to be rushing into you, take a better fight defensively, and then counterattack. Ideally, Gabe wants to refine his army, building up to tanks, Vikings, Ghosts, and then eventually Liberators. So Gabe should be at home for the near future. Leading out a Viking. Does lead up a Viking. Disruptors have arrived. Shows us Nevers. First Never goes up. Disruptor does get sniped. But Never doesn't connect. There's that fusion core. Again, that's going to be for Liberator range. Gaby's almost there. And the pressure is on Xian. Now, what I will say, when Gabe gets his 5th expansion, he's going to spread himself even more thin, and he's going to be more vulnerable as a result. So that does, or that should be granting Xian an opportunity to try to punish and try to break a defensive Terran player that's spreading themselves too thin. There should be opportunity. Should be. Xian is being active. Hey, it does catch a couple of Marauders. Liberator production has begun. So the Liberators are on the way. I believe there's already a 5th. Yeah, there's already a couple of CCs. More CCs are being thrown down. Xian rotates on the right. Again, I'm sure he's hoping to find a command center. Nice CMP. Xian does find a better angle here. And he tries to. Trying to make his way in. The DTs are tend to slip by. Oh, there he goes up. Decent connection. Yeah, smashing into 4 more orders. More Novas do not connect. Yeah, don't quite connect here. And now Gabe, he can commit and he will kill all Colossus. Both Colossus go down. Nova doesn't get the splits though. Oh my god. Oh my. Some splits, but otherwise some massive connections. Yeah, a bit of a back and forth. We're getting messy. Oof. Once again, catching out Gabe. And it's on Xian to just keep reinforcing, keep warping in more Zealots. There it is, warping in 7 Zealots at a time. Xian, he's got to keep pushing. He cannot let Gabe stabilize. Gabe still needs more time. Oh, nice target finding the Disruptor. Oh, geez, that friendly fire. Massive chunk of Zealots go down. Raising the army. And Xian, has he done it? He's down to 0 Disruptors. No Zealots either. Stalkers are going down. Extensive losses here for Xian. Yeah, very rough losses. Ooh, and now Zound starts the Stargate. It's a late tech choice, a late transition. We'll see if he needs it. Once again, diesel splits. Oof, oh god. Novas do connect towards the end. Liberators have finally arrived. I would say that these Liberators are a little bit late, for sure. But they're finally here. They've made it. So rotating once more. Again, he's got mainly a Zealot heavy composition. It's mainly charge lots. Nova goes up. Oh my god, nice connection. This is one and the other. Decent split. Decent split towards the end, but there's still so many Zealots left over. Zealots are going for the bases. We got a mass around, and Zound, done it. Zound, he's cleaned up the army. He can keep on pushing. It's still close though. Yeah, still very close. 14 SCVs go down. Zound, he retains the disruptors. That's what's important. He's built up to 4. Again, just keep swapping in. Focusing in for the dive. Nice round by Gabe. Yeah, very nice concave. Oh god. Nova still do connect mainly on Marines. Oh god. Yeah, Gabe is just being bullied back. The Novas, they're connecting back. The disruptors. Oh my god, once again catching Ghost this time. Yeah, Ghost getting caught out of Marines as well. Gabe taking too many losses, too much damage, and again Zound, he has broken the main army. Zealots they peel off into the 3rd this time. And Zound has done it. Zound, he has done it. There were definitely chances there were opportunities for Gabe. Again, his Liberator switch was very delayed, was very late. But on top of that, the Novas, geez, they just keep connecting. The splits weren't there. Oh god. Again, it was close. It was close for a long time as well. One too many poor fights for Gabe. And Zound should be looking to take a lead in the series. Looking to take a lead back. As at this point, there's just not enough left. Oh my god. Novas, they just keep popping off, Pappy. Ah, god. They connect one after the other. GG gets called, and Zound, he will take game number 1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. A back and forth here. Initially, Gabe, I was actually favoring him. Like, he was able to get his 4th base up and running, get his 5th CC as well. He never did take it, by the way. He was stabilizing and turtling up on 4 bases, but we did see that Zound found an opening, specifically the ramp leading into the natural. That's the main area that he was able to abuse, able to push into, as he didn't have to deal with a planetary or a siege line, really. It was mainly the bio army. Did have some nice concaves, some nice arcs out of Gabe, but again, the Novas gained so much value over time there. We just saw Nova after Nova connecting, so that Gabe had a really hard time reacting, pulling away, and splitting against those Novas, as a couple of them started landing, and then things very quickly snowballed out of control with more Novas, with more Zealot Warpins. GG. GG, well played. Whew. And with that, Zound does take a lead in the series, and we'll see if he can extend that lead or if Gabe can start to bounce back. Up next, Tourmaline. Let's go. Yeah. As spawning in the top right hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the German Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Mals. It is Hero Marine. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss. For Team Vitality, it is Zound, leading the series 1-0. Now we go from one extreme to the other. White Rabbit is one of the largest maps in the map pool. Now we load into one of the smallest maps in the map pool. Welcome to Tourmaline. And this map will be favoring more aggressive builds and more aggressive timings from the Terran player, or from both players really. So we do expect to see more aggression out of our players. A likelihood of Gabe turtling up and trying to build up into a late game on this map is very low. Hello. As Zan sets up the proxy, okay. As he mentioned, we expect aggression, right? We expect aggression on Tourmaline, and Zan is going for his own form of aggression as well. Going for the proxy. Here we go. Okay, waves are being thrown down. Jesus, one base all in. He's going for the 4 gates. So I say 4 gateways. There's 2 across the map and 1 back at home, so 3 gates. So 3 gate aggression here out of Zan. There's a Cybercore. Initially we start with Zealots into Stalkers. We do see that Gabe is playing a little bit safer here. He does open up double gas, so he's going for a faster factory. This will benefit Gabe in the defense because he's going for a delayed CC, but hopefully he gets a CC on the high ground. If he goes for it on the low ground, then he will be losing that base and he'll be forced to cancel and forced to rebuild. Sorry, just trying to open up the windows. It's getting quite hot. But here we go. We do have the high ground CC, so Gabe does play safe. Does play it safe. Setting up in the main. Likewise, Zan, he does start to push out. Zan, he actually waited for his Cybercore to finish. Interesting. So get out those Stalkers. Zan is poking in. Ooh, delays the CC. Yeah, boys are being pulled, and we'll see if Hero Marine can hold on. Losing 1, 2 SCVs. Reaper does race back home. Zan does expand behind this, okay. Does go for the expansion. And we'll see how long it takes for Gabe to expand. When can he break out? Oh, my shot goes off. Teasing an action. The bunker is still yet to finish though, and it won't. Yeah, it will not finish, will not complete. More boys are being pulled, losing 2, 3, 4 SC. Oh god, it's getting out of hand now. Yeah, it's getting out of hand here as 6 SCVs go down. Oh, 7 SCV kills. Yeah, 9 in total. 9 SCVs, Widowmine, 2 Marines, delay in the CC. Crazy damage here dealt already. And remember, Zan is expanding. Zan is chilling. Zan is chilling back at home. Twilight Council is going to be on the way. Getting into Blink. And it's all about how long is it going to take for Gabe to expand? How long until he can break out? Most likely he has to wait for his tank. He has to wait for his tank. Banshee's on the way as well. That'll help harassing across the map to try to stabilize. Sound doesn't get in. Robo's on the way. That will provide some detection. The Banshee does have a lot of potential. Go. Cave does expand. And so far, no detection. Oh, she got spotted. Banshee's on the way. Now, one Banshee can 2-shot probes, and there's no battery in the main base. There's a battery at the natural, so the natural is a little bit more secure. Main base is exposed. Robo still not yet done. Banshee moves in. Probes will go down. Again, this is the beginning of the comeback. Getting 1, 2, 3 probe kills. 0 mining in the main. So far, so good. There's that battery. That battery does defend. Zan taking a 3rd expansion. Still bleeding out 6, 7 probes. Oh, god. Losing up to 8 at the same time with the tanks on siege. Yeah, Zan does catch up the army. Cleans up all the Marines. Doesn't quite get the tank, though. Oh. Yeah, tank does survive. Gabe holds his own. Get home, the observer is finally out. And we're getting messy. We're getting very messy here. Okay, as it settles, Hero Marine, he's caught up in the SCV count. He also has mules as well. He's got his 2 bases. Economically, Gabe, he's looking solid. Likewise, when it comes to the main army, he did retain those tanks. So I'm preferring Gabe's position. Zaun's third is late, and Zaun's tech is late as well as a result of that. No charge. And no charge yet. Gabe is moving out, so the boys are being pulled. Gabe committing here into the 2 base all in, or really 1.5 base all in. He does have momentum. And Zaun doesn't see this coming. Yeah, Zaun, he sees nothing. Now moving in, spots you all in. Yeah, now he knows. Oof, catching out a tank. Not bad. 1 tank goes down. Gabe has to rally back with his reinforcements. He's up to 3 banshees across the map already. Ay, ay, ay. That's so much DPS. That's so much damage. Yeah, from here going for the Archosis pylon. Pylon goes down, depowers everything. And Gabe cannot be stopped. He cannot be stopped. Not like this. Tank now within range of the natural. Zaun trying to catch reinforcements, but he's caught out. He's just caught out by banshees. Going for the blink, goes to the dive, he gets 1. He gets 1 tank, he barely gets both, but at the cost of almost every single stalker. Oof. Alas, so many stalkers go down. Banshees, they can just give chase. Zaun staying in front of the dive, okay, does blink in, gets 1 more tank. Once again, though, oh, Jesus, gets punished so hard. And we just chase. Yeah, Banshees, they just hunt them down. GG gets called. Gabe has done it. Gabe overwhelms, and we have a back and forth. GG. Whew, GG, well played. We have a back and forth here. Initially, I will say that Zaun, he was doing well for himself. He delayed the expansion. It was getting his own 2-base saturation up and running. Zaun wasn't looking too bad, but Gabe had 1 ace up his sleeve. That was the Cloak Banshee, and that Cloak Banshee was the MVP. The Banshee killed so many probes in the main base tonight, all that mining, which also entailed delayed the third, delayed charge, delayed the production, delayed everything. Again, Zaun had a very shaky defense against the Banshee because he had no detection. His robo was too late. Too late, no detection. With that, he was torn apart. That allowed Gabe to break out and to snowball out of control. GG, well played. Whew. And that leads us into game number 3. Bearing in mind this is a best of 5 matchup here, so this can still go either way. We're tied up and we're loading into another small map. We're going to be loading into 10,000 feet. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the German Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Mouse. It is Hero Marine. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss for Team Vitality. It is Zaun. Here we go. And again, it was just unfortunate that Zaun never scouted the main base. He never saw the cloak being researched. He was never ready for the Banshee. He didn't see the tech lab on the starport. So he was caught completely with his pants down. That was the game-winning move for Gabe. From there, he was able to catch out Stalker after Stalker, push out across the map, and claim it from there. And welcome to 10,000 feet. Another smaller map. This time, though, does Zaun proxy once again? Based on the rally? No. Okay, so it's going to be a scout. So Zaun is going to be scouting into the main base. There is no proxy. There is no commitment here from Zaun. Not this time. So playing it safe, calming down, standard openers instead. Now welcome to 10,000 feet. 10,000 feet is still one of the smaller maps of the map pool, shortest rush distance by ground, so aggression can be favored. Rallies especially are heavily favored. That is going to influence Terran more than Protoss. But it doesn't take long at all for an army unit or for units to get across the map to reinforce. Now what I will say is that your initial 3-base setup is very secure. Your forward third base does protect your natural and your main base, but there's a bit of a give and take specifically in this matchup. The reasoning for this is the ravine. The river here between the forward third base and the rest of the map can be abused by tanks. Tanks that can siege up here and they can shell away at the mineral line, so this does become a much more contentious position here in the early to mid game. So we'll see if that does come into play. Hello, Sound. Okay, sorry. I noticed this probe on the right hand side, but just scouting. Okay, just scouting. Making sure there's no proxy starports. Meanwhile, Stargate opener out of Zound. Ooh, okay, bold move. Stargate openers are very out of fashion nowadays. They're very niche. Stargate openers do allow you to get into oracles, harass across the map, deal economic damage, get into phoenixes, and defend from any kind of drop play. The downside, of course, is that this does struggle against 2 base all-ins. And I would say that all-ins are relatively common here. I say relatively. They're not uncommon on 10,000 feet, so I'm a little bit torn about whether or not Zound can get away with this. We'll see if he can. See if he can get away with it and potentially build up into Phoenix Colossus. For now, it is unscouted. Phoenix is on the way. That might be one of the reasons why we do see Stargate play again with a little bit more frequency on this map. One, the Reaper cliff into the main is completely walled off, and two, there's only one entrance into the natural, then leading into the main base. So Reaper scouting is much more difficult here on 10,000 feet. It is much more difficult. We'll see if Gabe can find a way in. For now, he's going for the mine drop. That will give him some scouting information, but likewise, the Phoenixes should shut this down. We do also take note that Zound did choose not to open the Oracle, but is banking up Phoenixes. And because he's banking up, as he's supply blocked out, but because he's banking up, it means that he's going to be in position to defend and shut down the drop play. So overall, I do prefer Zound's position here. Gabe just isn't set up to punish. He doesn't know. Gabe's rotating. He does run into the Phoenix. It does run in, confirming that they are real, of course. And you can see Gabe immediately turn back around with the medevac. Gotta be careful. Yeah, he was waiting for his boost. Phoenixes are revealed. There's that boost across the map. And basically, Gabe, he didn't know where the Phoenixes were, now he does. Now he's aware. There is potential there for Gabe. Meanwhile, no going Phoenix Loss is going Phoenix into charge, the other option. It's going into Mass Zealots. Mindra comes in. Zound, he does pull away, but a little bit late. Oh my god. They're losing 4. 4 probes go down. Medevac scouting the main, confirming all the gates, confirming the lack of Bay and lack of Robo. So nice scouts out of Gabe. We'll lose the Medevac. Medevac does go down. Gabe, he is securing himself. Getting towards third and building up into the mid game. Okay. We're going to slow the game down. Already has all the Vikings. Already does have him. Here's Zound working on Storm, almost done. Again, we kind of reached a lull here, a bit of a... Oh! As both players have backed off. We're building up. Again, third CC, so Gabe, he's going to get into this third base, expand forward, claim and set up on 3 bases, and most likely get ready and turtle up on up to 4. I was hoping that on 10,000 feet we'd see a bit of a shorter game, but so far things are looking to head towards the longer direction. Yeah. And again, that's partially because of the Phoenixes. Like, drop play is not really an option for Gabe. It's just a really big gamble and a really big risk. So he's just stuck at home, throwing down bunkers, turrets, sensor towers. Likewise, Jan getting his own 4th base. 4th is on the way. Double forge, double upgrades. Yeah, we're settling down, Pat. As it settled down, Gabe did rush into Ghost a little bit earlier, so he will have those EMPs available very soon. So he can punish Phoenixes, they can punish any kind of commitment. We should soon be seeing Xian start to throw down his base, second Robo, start switching to Disruptors or Colossus, most likely Disruptor. So we're expecting. Yep, there it is. Second Robo, Bay, Disruptors. So Xiani's getting there. And so is Gabe. We did mention one of the criticisms about Game 1 is that Gabe, it took him a long time to actually get his Liberators up and running. Hopefully we can get there soon. Your first steps first is the 4th CC. Which is yet to actually begin. Uh-oh. There we go. Yeah, a bit of a late 4th base here for Gabe. And it is a bit late. Scan reveals both Robos and now the Colossus production. Switching into Disruptors. Good call. As we do have just a little skirmish. Down catching a couple of stray units. Gabe has to be careful. So let's catch the Observer. Let's catch the Observer. From here, Zan is active. He's rotating. Rotating towards would be 4th base. This time a much faster Stargate. Okay, 2nd Stargate. From here we should be working towards a fleet beacon, and Xian looks like he's thinking about Sky Toss. He's thinking about it. For now I'm maxed. Oh, nice mine connection. Jesus. Mine shell pulls up at the same time, so there's a storm. Oof. Yeah, storm does zone away. Wouldn't mind they get shut down. And Zan is going for the 4th base, and KB cannot afford to lose that. And over the buying time, down goes the planetary. Ay, ay, ay. And Zan, he may not kill Gabe, but he did cripple. He is crippling. The 4th base is already late. Now there is no 4th. Storms are coming in. Oh my god. Yeah, Mass is on the ghost. That's a massive storm. Gabe's making 4 Liberators at a time, but again, he needs time for that. He needs time, Pappy. I'll take a lapse in. Oof, brutal connection. Nerves are popping off. And Zan pulls away. Zan pulls away. 4th base is getting back up. Thankfully, we did see that Gabe, he had to back up 4th. So do apologize if you can hear some background noise. Do apologize. We'll get through it, Patty. We'll get through it. Speaking of getting through it, Gabe does reestablish his fourth. Okay, this time he's got Liberators. This time the army's in position. Gabe, he does successfully get his fourth. Heavily fortified here on the left-hand side as well. And we have 2 more Stargates. Where's the beacon? Like, Stargates are great and all. We have +1 air attack as well, but where is the fleet beacon? Second Cyber Core for double air upgrades. Am I crazy? Yeah, there's still no... There's no beacon back. If you recall at the start of the game, we mentioned how tanks can abuse this central position. Well, Tempest can as well. So Tempest can be that much more powerful here on this map. Storm comes in. It does land. There's a fleet beacon. It's very late, but hey, it's on the way. Major pickoffs. He's now playing with fire. Again, he should not engage. Storms there by some time. Sound pulls away. We've got 5. We got 5 more CCs in production. Lovely. Oh, and Gabe is getting a 5th. Getting a 5th base. At least trying to. This does give another opportunity for Zaun. As all the posturing's been happening, Zaun just getting more bases, getting more expansions, building up his bank. Getting up to 6 bases. The other scary thing, of course, about this map, it's not just small, but because of that, less bases. There are less expansions, less bases, there's a higher chance we mine out. Zaun taking the center base. Trying to look for a way in. Trying to. Nice Nova. Yeah, Nova connects. Flanking Storm. And Gabe cannot chase. He cannot chase this army. Tempers are building up. More prisoners in the main. Does not get in. Doesn't make it through. And right now it's all just about Zaun posturing until he builds up his Tempest. So this is a posture, perk in, lead out some gateway units, find his army. Nice time with Liberator. It's a Viking as well. Tempests are revealed. How many Vikings are there so far? Oh, only 6. Not a very high Viking count. It's a bit of a concern. Zaun is pushing in. Okay, slightly out of position. Sound peeking for a couple of turrets. Nothing major. Oh, Gabe is gonna get called out. Never doesn't go off. Gotta be careful. Oh no! the prism is just trying to get in, baby. So the prism goes down. Nothing gets punished. Punishing Blink, still posturing. I'm impressed that Gabe has built up a bank, and oh, he actually finds the free supply to move out for a counterattack. Oh my god. Okay, catching at the Colossus. Gabe pulls away, but again, there's nothing at him to defend. Yeah, nice move here out of Gabe. Gets a base and keep going. Zhani pulls everything back home to defend. Brutal Novas, but all three disruptors are going to go down. That's still a better trade for the Terran. Catching out three disruptors. How many disruptors are left? One. Oh, only one disruptor. Sound is in trouble. Gabe is broken out, just throwing down his towers, his turrets. Sound still does have a bank, but his army takes a long time to rebuild. He's trying to build back up in the Tempest. Straight into Carrier. The Sky toss. As Gaby finds another expansion. Avoids a Nova. Breaks through the side defense. You can see that Zound doesn't want to respond with his army, and he will lose everything here. Jesus. Yeah, the probes are going down the main army as well. Meanwhile, we do clash in. Oh, the Vikings, they try to pop up. Nice slow zone. Yeah, the slow zone and the storms. Jesus. Punish the Vikings. Zound will lose another expansion. Yeah, another Nexus goes down. Mothership finally falls. And does Gabe have enough to do with the Tempest? Does he have enough? Oh my god. Takes down all the High Templar. Yeah, Templar go down, no more storms. Vikings, they give chase, they catch another Viking. Sorry, I feel like catch another Tempest. Yeah, two more Tempests go down. And Zan, he lost another base. Zan, he's in trouble. Now, thankfully, he has a bank. Like, the bank is keeping Zan in this. But the bank is finite. Zan, he can't lose too much too quickly. At the same time, Gabe also needs another expansion. Double expanding, actually. Maybe both CCs. Once again, better engaged here by Gabe. Catching all the Zealots, chasing the Colossus. Sorry, chasing the Carriers. And the army still just busting through. Oh! Do you have momentum? From this point, Gabe, he has to keep going. He has to keep pushing. Can he get the disruptor? He can! Gets one. And no! There we go, one disruptor goes down. Okay, we gotta keep going. Either to the main army or to the main mining base. Oh. Once again, gonna be sent back. No major storms land though. Yeah, no major connections. The game is just saturating. Nova goes off. Decent Nova. But it was only one. Yeah, only one Nova. Zhani's running out of interceptors. Oof. Yeah, clutch so zone. Now he's holding. Oh god, that's way too soon. Always ways disruptors. The structures are thrown away. Army kites back to the turrets. Gabe is ready for this. Yeah, they are ready. And with that, Gabe, he has done it. He has broken the main army, catching out all the carriers, all the Tempest, all the Sky Toss. Nice storm towards the end, but too late. It's too late, Papi. Ah, the missed rally. Rallying into disruptors. EMPs on the Archons, the high tempo, and everything. And with that, Gabe will look to take a lead in the series. GG gets called. Gabe takes game number 3. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Since that disruptors are so useless, that sounds like you didn't watch the previous game where Zaun did pop off, sorry, game 1, where Zaun did pop off with disruptors. I will say here that Zaun, he was caught mid-transition trying to get into Sky Toss, and again, he failed to deny the expansions. We did speak previously how these big power spikes occur when the Terran player gets a 4th base and a 5th base, and he wasn't quite able to stop those expansions from happening. I will say though, the big winning move for Gabe though was splitting up his army, was going for the massive Dune drop on the left-hand side. He killed 2 expansions, he killed 2 bases, crippling and stifling the economy of Zaun, pulling apart his attention, allowing Gabe to kind of come in and to be able to outtrade, to punish the ground army, to punish the Sky Toss even as well. GG. GG, well played. But with that, that leads us into our next game. Gabe does take a lead in the series, and we'll see if Zaun can bounce back. But yeah, if you missed, I see, hold on. Saul Goodman, if you missed game 1, I do recommend it, as Zaun landed every single Nova. It was crazy. Zaun was bullying with disruptors. But here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the red Terran player. We have the red Terran himself, representing Maus from the land of Germany. It is Hero Marine. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss himself, representing Team Vitality. It is Zaun. I should also mention as well that this map is that much more unforgiving as well. I say this map, the previous map, we did try to emphasize that on 10,000 feet, because the map is so small, once you start winning engagements, it very quickly snowballs out of control. Because the map is so small, because there are so few bases, once you win a fight, you can keep pushing and knock down more expansions. So Zaun, he was up against the wall real fast and real quick after losing momentum, but now we load into Winter Madness. I will say that typically these larger maps do favor Protoss instead, as there are more expansions, there are more bases, there's more area to take, and easier to gain map control instead. Oh boy. So we'll see how Gabe will change his approach. So far, double gas opener out of Gabe. Zaun opening up with his standard opener, gate expand. Here we go. But again, very strong defense, very impressive defense out of Gabe to be able to establish his 4th, his 5th base, building up towards his 6th, and also to split off the army and to just catch his opponent off guard, to go for the backstab, knocking down Nexus after Nexus. GG. GG, well played. Here we go. Here we go. We're going to be building up. Zaun scout on the left-hand side. And with our double gas opener, that does mean faster factory, faster starport. This can lead into Reaper Hellion. This can lead into a more committed mind play. We'll see how hard we commit, even into Cloak Banshee. But okay. Let's lock in, baby. Let's lock in. As we open up, it does look like a Wood Mine Drop opener instead here by Gabe. Opening a Mine Drop, trying to scout across the map, get some vision, get some scouting, deal potentially some damage. Meanwhile, Twilight Council opener out of Zaun. I will say that the Stargate opener last game was quite successful. He was able to successfully just gain map control and turtle, or I should say turtle. I should say force Gabe to be more defensive and force him to turtle. So it was quite successful. This time though, we're calming down, getting to something more standard and potentially more aggressive as well. Stalkers are a little more versatile with how you want to use them. Meanwhile, the mine drop is on the way. Setting up for the mine drop. Back at home, Zowny throws down extra gateways. Okay. 3 gates in the main. Waiting for the robo. As Gabe is moving out. He's got his mines on the right. There's that robo. So far, still 3 gateways. And down, can he deny the scout? So far, nice damage on the medevac. Oh! To save the mine. Clutch controls, wouldn't mind to take a lot of hits. And will not be saved. And not going to be saved, not this time. Meanwhile, Gabe did not get into the main base. He did see the stalker count, which is a little bit suspicious. Also, no third. Yeah. He knows. So he knows there are more gateways. He's aware of the lack of third base. We have a second mine drop into the main. Okay. Quite rare. Second mine drop comes in. Sound pulls away. And sound defense at the same time. Oh. Another mine drop here. Geez, the mine drops, they continue. The original mine comes back in. Medevac barely gets away. And so far, nice harassment here by Gabe. At the same time, Zan tries to break in, but he will lose a stalker. And one stalker goes down. Almost losing another. Jesus. And shaky defense, shaky aggression out of Zan. Catching out the Reaper. Mine drop is deflected. And from here, the game continues. Whew, okay, so we're building up into the mid game. We have a bio setup here, stim, combat shields, concussive shell, all on the way. Zan going for no Colossus into Storm this time. Interesting. Similar to last game. In a longer game, this should eventually lead into disruptors. Just baiting out the shots. Nice control there from Zan. Bold move out of Gabe here. He doesn't want to take this line down. He doesn't want to be defensive, not again. So he peels off and he goes for a Doom Drop on the left hand side. Observer pokes in, sees the production. But does Zan check the natural? He should, if he does, he should notice that the army is missing. Doesn't see much. Now going further into the natural. Now he sees. Now he knows. Oof. Zan is aware. Sniping in medevac, so far so good. Holding on, holding on. To appreciate that Gabe is still being very active. Comes down to the storms. The storm is done. And I believe there's one High Templar in the prism. Sorry, two. Two Templar in the prism. Army sims in. And here come the storms. Templar, they chop off. One Templar goes down. Storms are landing. Oh, good. He does rush in. Gabe just tanks the storms, does rush in. And with that, Gabe, he's done it. Gabe, he has broken the main army. Stalkers are going down. We need another storm. Jesus. In the end, Zan does barely hold on. But not a bad trade here out of Gabe. Preserves all these marauders, saves the army. In the end, Gabe, he caught 3 stalkers, 3 High Templar went down. That was worth it for the Terran. How many Templar are left? 2. 2 Templar, they're both in the prism. Says at most going to be 2 storms. Army sims in. Here come the storms. Marauders, they can tank. There's one more. Ooh, High Templar gets sniped. There's a second storm. That's it. Only 2 storms. A third High Templar warps in, morphing in an Archon. Very clutch defense here from town. It's very tense. There we go. Warps into the Zealots. Down should be fine. Should be fine. Army gets baited into the minefield. Oof. Nice connections. Down to 1 Templar. And there's a storm. There is a storm in the Templar. Okay, he pulls away, he regroups. Ghost production has begun, so he's waiting for those EMPs. Whew, and Zan can breathe. He's like, oh god. He shouldn't be out here though. Zan has to pull away. Did at least spot the army. Zan getting in position. There are 3 High Templar. There's the first storm. There's the first. EMP on the Templar. Jeez, the second storm comes in. And I think there's one more. Oh. Mainly zones. Her major connections. They'll run by, gets into the third base with the bunkers. I'll stand strong. Nice defense. And the game continues. I feel like Gabe has been hyper aggressive and he's been hoping to try to break down early, and he's been close but barely not able to. So forcing out a longer game. Sensor Tower, 4 CC. Building up set upgrades. Nice catching the Observer. But once again, the game is slowing down. Now, as we slow things down, our players are kind of moving in different directions. We do have a second starport here for Gabe. He does need to build up his Viking count. Second robo for Zan. Zan initially going to Colossus. Right now, there's not really much of a Viking count to speak of. There are 0 Vikings, so Colossus makes the most sense here. Once the Viking count gets too high, then you have to get out of Colossus and into Disruptors. So that's why you do have that, typically that switch into Disruptors in the late game. Colossus, they lose their value. Eventually. Otherwise, yeah, we're calming down. Calming down. It was an intense mid-game. Zan is posturing. Zan's prism is full of Templar. He is distracted though. Chopping the natural, picking up some zealots. Like, Red Storm's going to be coming in. Ooh, Prism goes down and lands 1 storm. That was not worth it for Zan. He will lose 2 High Templar on that Prism. Oh. As Zan does catch up the army, okay. Yeah, Gabe caught out in the open, bleeding out a lot of Marauders. Better fight for Zan. Yeah, this is getting messy. Typically, Gabe wants to fight with his siege line, with his SimCity. Planetary is not quite done yet either. So some rough moments there for Gabe. Played out 7 Marauders, oof. And Zan has momentum. He's going for it. And again, he sees there's no defensive setup here. Or there's not much of one. Gabe does bait out a storm. Templar still missing. First disruptor has arrived. So they're building up his disruptors. Both armies are maxed. And there it goes up. Nice connection. Oof. Yeah, catching up the Marauders. The Vikings, they do go to town. And they will take down every Colossus. But what about the ground army? Yeah, what about the ground army here? Oh, nice. Okay, nice snipe. Takes down the disruptor. Snipes the High Templar. Oof. But again, Zanny's running out of storms. Down to 2. And Zan does blink in, catching up with Liberators. Serral still trading well. Has to be careful with those Zealots. Yeah, we do see a big overextension. Zan, he should not be here. Storms, they do zone back the army. Zan has to be careful. Yeah, he does lose too much. Zan has to back off. Now, unlike the previous games, by this point, we should already have a fleet beacon and a Stargate and a second Stargate plus 1 fire attack. Unlike the last game, Zan, he's not setting up for Sky Toss. He's doubling down with a ground-based army instead, which can still work, but you have to be hyper aggressive. Right now, Gabe, he got his 5th, right? He's on a 5 base economy. Gabe, he can afford to max out. Zan, he has to be trading as much as possible. You can see that Gabe, he has no bank. Like, because he's been losing so many units, he has to replenish, he has to rebuild. He is stuck without a bank. And Zan has to keep going. Just to keep trading. Even at times trading inefficiently. He's out a couple of Stalkers. Hand this down, he almost has every base on the map. Almost. Now it's to 5 Disruptors. Now just poking in. See Gabe trying to set up a flank. Does catch 1, if not 2 disruptors. Very nice. 2 disruptors go down. Storm mainly zones. Yeah, they got a messy fight here from Zan. Gonna lose 1, 2. Oh god, the Novas! Oh my god! Novas to connect! I wasn't sure they would. Zan takes 1 massive fight, landed 2 Novas. He's gonna keep chasing. Boys are being pulled. Ooh, down to 1 disruptor. 1 disruptor left. Once again, okay, the Nova pops up. And even though Zan is not going to kill, and even though Zan he lose all these Stalkers, remember Zan he has a bank. He's warping in, he's reinforcing. Gabe he bled out far too much here. Gabe he's broke. He's running out of money. Okay, here comes another base. Crucial moment here for Gabe. Can Gabe expand? Yeah, Zan, he does remax mainly with Zealots. With this, he's going for the base, going for the CC. Nova clipping the army. Oh my god, Nova connects. Jesus. Novas, they just keep popping up. Okay, he's fighting for his 5th base. He's trying to fight for it. I don't think he can hold on to it though. It's on the low ground, it's out in the open. Oh, he missed rally, throws away Disruptor, okay. Disruptor's thrown away. CC survives. Jesus. clutch last second split. Jesus. Okay, if he breaks out, takes out an expansion. Does catch a Nexus. And he wants more. How many gateways are we on? 16. Warping is denied. Aye, aye, aye. If the gateway count is a little bit low. At this stage, we went up to 20 gateways. But Zan doesn't really have much of a bank. Okay, he's remaxing. He gets his fresh mining base. True. Crucial. Can he hold on to it? Oof. Stun overs are popping off. As the army collapses in. Still holding on to those novas. Oh my god. Clipping the army. Good. From here, you see Gaby does take down one expansion at the same time. Zan going for the other. He still wants that planetary. Yeah, still wants it. He does get it. Not bad. Not bad rotation. Sniping the CC, sniping the Liberators, pulling away. Disruptors have arrived. This army is missing Zealots, and Jesus, a little bit trigger happy there. Zan's gonna be careful. Does have to be careful here. Catching out some rollers, catching out some ghosts. Yeah, messy engage here from Zan. Once again, we do see the Gaby scored out. He scored out in the open here. He should not be out here. Ah, no. At the same time, does kill an expansion. But Gabe will lose the entirety of the main army. Ay, ay, ay. And look, it seemed like he just wanted to distract, but he just got ahead of himself. Oh, sorry. But yeah, he gets caught out, so he's going to just crumble here as Gabe will lose every single army unit. The Medivacs and Marines. They go survivor GG, and Zan, he ties up the series 2-2. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, Gabe, he did a great job when it came to expanding and getting and setting up his 4th base. His 5th was a struggle, though. Did struggle to get his 5th base up and running, and we saw that Zan was able to abuse him time and time again. It was a little bit on Gabe. Gabe, he got caught out in the open multiple times. It's difficult, but in this kind of position, you have to be as defensive as possible. We saw that Gabe never really built up into a critical mass of Liberators, and because Zan was fighting so often, and because Gabe was taking some rough fights, Gabe never accumulated a bank. There was never a bank for Gabe to work with, so he could never slowly build up into a more perfected army. He was struggling to just barely hold on, and GG. GG, well played. He was spread thin, took some rough fights, and with that, we are going all the way to the ace match. Let's go. Let us go. Again, a good example of a game where Novas, they popped off. They shutting everything down. And here we go, we're getting into our game 5, into the ace match, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Title Citadel. We have the German Terran player, we have the red Terran representing Mouse. It is Hero Marine. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player, the Protoss South Korean Protoss Team Vitality. It is Zan. Here we go. As welcome and all to Title Citadel. Now, coming into this map, I will say there's a couple of interesting features here. On the one hand, it's very defendable on 4 bases. We do have the triangular 4th base here, which does have a couple of ramps. Again, this is a pretty secure expansion. We have the linear 3rd base, which also has a more narrow choke point coming into it as well. And this area in between the bases is walled off by rocks. So securing yourself on 4 bases is relatively straightforward. It is straightforward. The 5th base is more difficult to maintain, 100%. But the scariest thing about Title Citadel is the fact that there's a gold base. Traditionally, in TVP, whenever there's a gold base on the map, that does favor the Protoss. So as you've seen, whenever we get into the late game, it's the Protoss player, it's Zaun, who has more bases, who has a bigger bank, which is necessary for them to keep up with Terran for sure. But when a gold base comes into play, this means that the Protoss player has an even greater economy and has an even stronger mid to late game if they can get this gold base up and running. So this does apply a lot of pressure on the Terran, and so far double gas opener. We'll see if here Marine is more aggressive earlier, trying to ensure that the gold base is never a factor. But Zaun's win condition is gain map control and claim the fourth. Oh, sorry, claim the gold. That is a win condition for Zaun. Yeah. And we'll see if Zaun can get there. SK picks in. Gonna be pulled away. This time we did open up Reaper, and he's continuing with extra Reapers and extra Hellion. So Reaper Hellion opener here out of Gabe, designed to deal some early economic damage. Keep an eye on the follow-up. Meanwhile, once again, Zaun with the second choice opening up Twilight Council. I say once again, once in the series it opened up Stargate, true on 10,000 feet. Did pull that off. This time we're calming down Twilight Council instead. Playing more standard. So we have our next round of Reaper Hellion. Getting into triple Reaper, double Hellion. As I mentioned before, the goal here with this kind of army early on is to get into a mineral line and is to do economic damage. He wants probe kills. It's going to be on Zaun to keep up. Zaun does have a safety shield battery in his main base mineral line. His natural has a battery a little bit further forward. As we do attempt to dive, Reapers are getting into the mineral line. So far getting one probe. Oh, just the one there. As Reaper's going to be zoned away. And they're going to be forced out. Oh, we've been hit before. So 1-1-1 Reaper Hellion into Cloak Banshee out of Gabe. Okay. Heading into Cloak Banshees. Thankfully, this time Zaun did go for a faster robo. So 3 Gabe Link into a robo before the third. So much safer play here by Zaun. We'll have detection. Now, despite that, we have seen, despite there being detection available, we have seen Banshees pop off. We have seen them wreak havoc. So this is still going to be on Zaun. As Banshee moves out, Gabe settling into Buyer. There's been no mech this series, thankfully. No mech. Zaun is being more assertive. Bearing in mind that again, Zaun, he's delaying his own expansion here for extra Warpins, for extra Stalkers. Here comes a move out across the map. This is not an all-in, but this is still relatively committed here by Zaun, and we'll see what he can get done. Tank is in position, no safety bunker. Manages to go for the backstab. Zaun looking for a way into the main. And does look for a way in. Does go for the dive, getting 1, 2, 3 ACVs. At the same time, Banshees, they hit the main. Observer does swap out there. Does swap out in time, and we're getting chaotic here. 5 SCV kills. Here Marine holds. At the same time, Banshees are getting up to 9 probes. Oh my god. Yeah, the Observer is out of position. The Observer was out of position. 12 probes go down. One of the Banshees does get away as well. And so far, a better trade for Gabe. Gabe, he comes out on top. 12 probe kills, insane damage. 12 workers, denied mining. Forcing Zan to retreat. And so far, Gabe is looking good. Zan trying to counterattack. Lassie's distracted by the Banshee. Oh, he wants it though. He's distracted. Gabe moves out. Zhao does run into the army. He does not get the medevac. Oh, fails to get the medevac. There's still 3 tanks left over. These Stalkers are very low. As a result, they get punished. Yeah, Zhao is in trouble. Zhao is in trouble. He has no charge. Colossus are on the way, bleeding out more Stalkers. Tanks, they are barely within range of the pylon. Stalkers are going to dive. He gets 1, he gets 2 tanks, and he gets all 3, but at the cost of every single Stalker. Ay, ay, ay. Colossus pops out. Marines, they do stem in. They start to step forward. Colossus goes down as well, and that's going to be game. Yeah, there's nothing left. There's 1 adept, 0 units. GG gets called. Gabe, he overwhelms. He breaks on through, and Gabe, he takes the series 3-2, advancing on to the upper bracket semis. GG. Whew. GG, well played. A very intense final game here for Gabe. Winding it back, what happened, Gabe, he did go for his 1-1-1 into Banshee play, Reaper Hellion into Banshee, and that Banshee did so much work. 12 probe kills, distracting the main army. What I mean by that, ideally Zhao after that defense wanted to move out to ensure there was no push across the map, to slow down the army and to pick away at the Marines, and to maybe even slow down the tanks for some sieges, and maybe even pick off a tank as well. But the army was out of position because of the Banshees. We saw that a lot of Stalkers were dedicated to that defense. We saw a handful of Stalkers went through the center. Again, it was a very disjointed effort there from Zhao, and it was taken advantage of. He was forced back, beating out more and more Stalkers, expensive losses. Yes, in the end, he bought enough time for the Colossus, but there was nothing to protect it. There was no support. Colossus on their own, I mean, they're just so fragile. They need that supportive army, and Zhao lost everything in the lead-up. He lost every single Stalker. GG, well played. With that, Gabe, he does claim the series, and we have our first matchup in the books here. It's going to be Gabe with a 3-2, and oh, there he goes. Gabe, he does advance on into the upper bracket finals. Zhao is out of the tournament. Oh, GG, well played. But again, the first round is single elimination, so it is brutal. It's that much more cutthroat. Congratulations to Gabe. My condolences to Zhao. My condolences. As again, he's going to be out. But again, a very intense back and forth. We got a lot of late games. We got a little longer and later games there in that series. Again, more spicier final game, thankfully, I would say. But now we have another matchup here. It's going to be a PvP. PvP between Showtime and SOS. Let's go. We have our Protoss versus Protoss. One of 2 mirror matchups tonight. We do have a ZVZ later on, but here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of 10,000 feet. We have the German Protoss player, we have the red Protoss for Sentinels. It is Showtime. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss for Streamer Zone. It is SOS. Here we go. Now, after a bit of a longer drawn out series in the first round, coming into this PvP, we should be seeing something more intense, something more aggressive. Welcome to 10,000 feet. Smaller map, but more importantly, both SOS and Showtime are more than happy, more than willing to cheese and to spice things up in PvPs. We bring this up all the time. Showtime has a reputation for longer macro games. That is true, but that is mainly the case in other matchups, not in PvP. In PvP, Showtime, he's not afraid to cheese. He's not afraid to all in. For now, though, everything's looking normal. Everything's looking normal, everything's looking standard. I will also say, on the flip side of things, when it comes to SOS, he's notorious for being hyper cheesy and hyper unorthodox. That is true. He's notorious, but that is a reputation he did gather many years ago. In modern StarCraft, I would say that SOS, he's more mellowed out. He's admitted that himself as well. But SOS, it's similar to Rogue. Both SOS and Rogue, after their return, after their hiatus, like, they have mellowed out quite a bit, and they're not as aggressive and not as chaotic as they used to be. Not saying they never cheese and that they never all in, it's just less so than previously. Hello, Showtime. Meanwhile, Showtime, where's that second pylon? Okay, he's gonna be going for the proxy in the center of the map. This would not be a bad location for a proxy robo. Let's see. Okay, scouting. So for now, it looks like a fake out. Looks like a fake pylon. SOS, he is searching here for the proxy, scouting on the right hand side of the map. Cybercore is done, opening up double adept, and there is no proxy here. So it is a fake out. Unfortunately for Showtime, SOS never probe scouted the main base, so he doesn't know that there's a pylon out of the map. We already do diverge early on. It's going to be double stalker versus double adept. Double adept at a Showtime is more aggressive. It allows you to move that across the map, shade across, and to potentially shade into the mineral line. And we're doubling down on the aggression. Double adept into Stargate, into Oracle harass. So again, a very aggressive build here by Showtime. They drew scouts, checking for the expansion. Behind this, we can see that SOS, he's backing up a lot of resources. He has what, 500? He had 500 minerals for a moment there. We need to throw down some tech, and there it is, Robo. Misread. Yeah, Robo's on the way. Remember, SOS, he never scouted across the map. There's a very defensive setup here from SOS. And he can turn this into an all-in. At the same time, Showtime, because he also refusing to expand, he keeps checking for a base. There is none, so he goes for his own defensive Immortal, his own defensive Robo. Finally, SOS expands. And Showtime will confirm. There it is. Showtime, he does confirm. And with that, he's going for his own. Both players expanding. This also confirms that this setup from Showtime was a reaction to SOS. He was reacting. As SOS does come in for the full scouts. Adepts are able to pop off in their own way. So Oracle does land the revelation. Does confirm the Robo. So Showtime, he sees just how safe SOS is being. And now we're building up into the mid game. So far, Showtime does take a worker lead. He's up in workers. He was able to snipe probes. Shades back in, getting another probe. And another? Wow, 2 more probes. Okay. 2 more probes go down. Showtime getting further ahead. He's building up his immortals. And then again, this first game here also just kind of exemplifies what we were saying earlier. How SOS, he is just being more defensive. Trying to be more secure. Struggles in doing so. Oh, nice shade here by SOS. Dropping into the main. Catching up 4 probes. And Showtime just claiming a third. Just claiming a third base. SOS, instead of expanding, he's teching, going for a Forge and Twilight Council. Well, the Pressure's on SOS. Ah, he didn't see the base. He saw the army, but it could have just been posturing. Oof. Yeah, SOS doesn't know what's going on. Here he's setting up, taking more gases. Again, remember, SOS, he never scouted. He never scouted. He is not aware. Oh, sorry, too soon. Sorry. Did get eyes on this. SOS knows. He's throwing down 2 more gates, getting up to 4 gateways, and he will go for a delayed expansion. Late expansion by SOS. Now, there is a small window in time where SOS will have better upgrades. He's posturing with his main army. Pressure is on. SOS should not commit. If he were to, he would lose this army. He's just taking it, playing it slow. Taking it safe. Take it safe, playing it safe. And we're just taking, yeah, we're just slowing the game down, taking up, we're building up the Archon production. SOS is trying to catch back up. Again, SOS has been playing from behind for the entirety of the game. But he's poking in. We have 2 adepts on left. We have the prism in between the bases, dropping into the main. And he has potential. Going for the main mineral line. Showtime notices. Despite that, probes will still go down. Getting 1, 2 probes so far. SOS the main army head towards the center base. Showtime is in position. Showtime is breaking out. Upgrades are even. Showtime has the larger army. He's got more immortals. He's got more archons. There are some batteries on the way that will help. Comes down to the engage. Force rules, they zone away the army. SOS struggling to engage. Gets one of the Archons. Never mind. Army pulls back. So far, Zelsic collapsed on top of the main army. Yeah, and Showtime is breaking through. Showtime just completely overwhelms. Yeah, again, better engaged, larger army. Again, it was just a rough game here for SOS. We did mention before, but he was just playing from behind. He was behind economically the entire game. He never caught up. And with that, Showtime just snowballs out of control. He dominates the fight. GG gets pulled, and Showtime takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Showtime does claim a lead in the series. Again, a shaky game there from SOS. From the very beginning, he had a misread, but a lot of it came down to lack of scouting. Remember, SOS never probe scouted. I mean, even if he did, he might have still reacted the same way. But SOS was being hyper safe. He went for the robo on one base. He stayed on one base how much longer. Did technically take a faster third, but again, his probe count was suffering. He also struggled defending as well. The Oracle harass, the Adept harass. Showtime took a very comfortable lead early on. He never lost it. Never lost that lead. That translated into a larger army, into a stronger timing. He had the faster third, of course, to maintain that better economy, and GG. GG, well played. With that, Showtime takes a lead, and now we're loading into game number 2. In mirror matchups, these leads are just really brutal. It's applicable to TVT, ZVZ, and PvP. I would say it applies to Terran versus Terran less than the others. TVT is different because, in Terran versus Terran, because it's so tank-based, especially in the mid-game, you can be down in supply, you can be behind in economy, but you can still take a better fight with your tank out-positioning your opponents, right? You can just out-position your opponents and get the first 1-2 volleys off and pop off from there. So TVT is a little more volatile because of that. In PvP and ZVZ, if you fall behind economically, it's very hard to recover from that. Not impossible, just difficult. From any kind of deficit, really. But here we go. Spawning in the top right hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the German Protoss player. We have the Red Protoss. Oh. Yeah, the Red Protoss leading the series 1-0 for Sentinels. It is Showtime. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Blue Protoss player. The Blue Protoss, we have the South Korean Protoss, the Streamer Zone. It is SOS. Here we go. As we load into a much larger map, the map pool, large map, more possible locations for proxies, by the way. So we'll see who takes the bait, if anyone, to attempt to go for a proxy, to attempt to be hyper aggressive. Oh. Okay, so SOS is going for a 2-gate opener, and if you noticed, sorry, Showtime is going for a 2-gate opener, and if you noticed, SOS didn't take a gas. SOS, he did not take a second gas geyser. Gate expand, hyper greed out of SOS. Okay, so SOS is cutting a lot of corners, opening up single gas, going for a later cyber core, going for a later gateway, and going for a faster nexus. Now, Showtime throws down the pylon. I'm curious, is Showtime blindly going to one base all in? If so, he's just going to build it to win. Throws down the pylon, the probe is being somewhat active, but if he doubles back around and if he goes for the robo, Showtime should win this game. Oh boy. No shot. The reads out of Showtime. Remember, Showtime did not probe scout, by the way. There is no probe scout. Proxy robo, one base all in out of Showtime. Showtime has the lead, has the advantage. Just because SOS, this is the greediest build you can go for. Gate expand. Technically, I think we've seen Australia go straight Nexus first, which is crazy. I think we have seen that maybe like once or twice. But outside of that, like, this is the greediest build you can go for. And it's gonna be a tough hold. Oh boy. And again, this also kind of leans into what we were saying at the start of this series, how Showtime, he is more than happy to cheese in PvP, specifically in PvP. Like Showtime, he gets down and dirty as well with the best of them. So we got the Prism is on the way. Showtime did, of course, confirm the timing, did confirm the Nexus. Showtime is aware. Just waiting for the Prism. He can bypass the wall. Right now, there's a battery here at the Natural, which will mean the Natural is much more defendable, of course. But what's in the main? There's no battery. There should be a safety shield battery in the main base as well. SOS, he scouts. He knows that the pylon is missing. He's getting a second battery in his Natural, but what about the main? Now the battery's on the way. Let's say slip in. They get one, they get two probes. 3 in total. 2 ups, they do hit the Natural, 0 mining. Jesus. For a moment there was just 0 income for SOS. Showtime breaks in, shades away, doesn't lose any units. Back into the main. Oh, bit of miscontrol. Targeted the Nexus by accident, but does kill 2 probes. 5 in total. Immortals moving in. Showtime now rallying his entire army together. And now it's time to break the Natural. Now, there are plenty of sentries. There are a lot of force fields available here for SOS. Force fields will buy time, but they shouldn't kill anything just because Showtime has the War Prism. And he just juggled into the main. He can just ferry on in. Oh, has to be careful. Showtime has to be careful with that Prism. There's no robo here either for SOS. Just purely a gateway defense. Just waiting for the second immortal. The other scary thing about this army is that with adepts, you can shade onto the sentries. And now baits out 2 force fields. And more force fields thrown down. Once again, SOS is buying time with these force fields. And he's got another round. He's got 1 more round of force fields. I think he's got 2 more left. Once again, nice control by Showtime. Showtime, he has yet to lose a single unit. Again, SOS has got, what, like 3 more force fields. There it is. I think he has 1 more in the chamber. At the final force field. He's got no mass. We just juggle over. Yeah, we just juggle over the wall. Into the natural. Boys are being pulled. Getting desperate. Pulled into adepts. And Showtime is done. At Showtime, he'll load well. He'll break SOS. And he'll extend his lead in the series. Yeah, he will extend his lead. Again, as we mentioned at the start of the game, it's just a build order win. Build order win. GG gets called, and Showtime takes game number 2. GG. GG, well played. Winding it back, SOS, he went for one of, if not the greediest build you can go for in PvP, viably at least, because technically you could go Nexus first, technically, but this was Gateway into Nexus off of 1 gas, into a late second gate, into a late Cybercore, and also a late scout as well. It was a late scout across the map, so hyper greed out of SOS. Meanwhile, Showtime blindly went 1 base all in. He went blindly into a proxy robo, so he was able to just pull SOS apart. SOS didn't have anything to defend. He had sentries that could buy time, but he had no backbone to his army. He had no robo, he had no immortals, he had no Stargate, he had no Void Rays, for example. Just he had no units to work with. He had no army. GG. Just too greedy in the end. GG, well played. And with that, we're loading into game number 3, and we'll see if SOS can make a series out of this. The pressure is very much so on SOS. We'll see what he can get done. What can he bring to the table? Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the German Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Sentinels. It is Showtime. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Blue Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Streamer Zone. It is SOS. So SOS did gamble last game, and unfortunately, I mean, it is a gamble for a reason. Did take a chance to take a risk. He was punished for it. Now we're loading into Ruby Rock. This is a smaller map of the map pool. Short rush distance by ground. All-ins can still be very powerful on this map. Not even proxied. But if you can just go for an all-in from back at home, go for your own robo on 1 base and commit, and it can be very hard to defend. We'll see though, as this time we do see SOS calming down, and we should be seeing a much more standard opener. Should be. Yep, second gas for Showtime, second gas for SOS. So this time, double gas opener. Should be leading into that second gate. Into that Cybercore. There we go. No proxy, not yet. Or no fast Nexus. Now from here we can hide the second pylon. We can see that SOS does veer off on the right hand side, and looks like he does want to hide a fake proxy pylon. I assume it's fake because it is on SOS's side of the map. This is basically meant to try to force an overreaction out of Showtime. Showtime should be going for a probe scout. If he does, he'll notice that a pylon is missing, and he'll assume, ideally, he will assume that it's a proxy pylon. We can see it's fake. So some mind games out of SOS. Now the problem, the unfortunate reality here, as we're trying to mind game, as we're trying to pull a fast one over, on Showtime, there is no probe scout. I say that, okay, when the probe came back, do we go proxy Twilight Council? We could actually commit to a Twilight Council or a Stargate. Cybercore is almost done. Cybercore finishes. Never mind. Never mind. So we don't make use of the pile. So it is a fake out. It is a fake out. Showtime, again, he never scattered, so he has no reason to be concerned. Or no reason to be mind gamed. He's now moving in with the probe scout. SOS, no, sorry, he does make use of it, going for a later Twilight Council. Okay. So this can be one of two things. Usually when you go for a proxy Twilight Council, it usually means DTs, like a Dark Shrine. Proxy Dark Shrine as well into a rush into Dark Templar. The other option, technically, which wouldn't have been delayed, would have been Twilight Council into Blink, into like a 4-gate 1 base all-in. but we're leaning more towards the Dark Shrine. You can see the probe does come back around. Twilight Council's almost done, and we can line this up with the Dark Shrine. Now, what is Showtime scouted? Showtime never got into the main, but he sees there is no natural. You can see here, he confirms there is no natural base. That tells Showtime that clearly money's being sent somewhere. SOS doesn't scout. Ooh, okay, so it's going to be a Stargate into Oracle opener out of Showtime. This tells me that Showtime has access to detection. We can see it's not going to be DTs, it's going to be Blink instead. Okay. So we should be throwing down extra gateways. There it is. We have a third gateway. We should be seeing a fourth gateway as well. So it's going to be a 1 base 4 gate all in. Showtime, he has yet to confirm. Jesus. Barely doesn't scout. Oracle's on the way. Again, SOS, he never saw the main. SOS, he didn't scout properly here, and back at home, thankfully, he's got Stalkers. Yeah, he's got Stalkers in position, he should be fine. Zones away the Oracle. Oracle lands Revelation. Oh my god, the Oracle does fall, actually. Okay, SOS. He pops off. Catching the Oracle, Revelation gets eyes on extra gateways. Robo's on the way. Immortals will be required. And we'll see what SOS can get done. Oh boy. So back at home, unlike SOS previously, you can see Showtime is getting a safety battery. So there's a safety battery in the main, battery here at the natural. Getting 2 batteries actually at the natural. And the win condition for Showtime is defend until Immortals swap out. He needs those Immortals. Oh, SOS expands? Oh boy. Okay. So now we see why there's no fourth gateway. If you remember, I assumed it was going to be a 4-gate 1 base Blink all in. It's only 3 gateways, and because we're skipping a gateway, we can afford a Nexus. That explains the Nexus timing, but this also means that SOS, he doesn't really have his heart in this. It means that this is going to be a weaker all in. Blink is done. Blink is revealed. Like, the problem here is that SOS needs to do damage because his base is so late. Like, if he goes into a macro game, he's going to be so far behind. Force fields, they do slow this down. Yeah, nice force fields. The first Immortal has arrived. Ay. We spoke about it. There was a window in time where SOS could do devastating damage before the Immortal arrives, but now we already have one. Triggers the shields, okay. SOS, he intentionally triggered the shields there. Gains high ground vision. He does think about rotating. Distract Showtime. And does one-shot a Stalker. Oh, now going for the Immortal. Does 2-shot. Yeah, the Immortal goes down. Nice pick up. Another Immortal does rise to take its place. It took too long. Yeah, it took too long. And this is looking bleak for SOS. Remember, SOS, he's down 10 probes. SOS does end up rotating with a couple of Stalkers. There we go. 4 Stalkers do get into the main. Never mind. Hallucination ran out. No high ground vision. A couple of boys are being pulled. Does pull a couple of boys. More batteries are finishing. The Immortal just cannot engage. There we go. That Stalker count is getting quite high. Getting up to 16 Stalkers. That's a lot of Stalkers here. SOS is reaching critical mass. The issue is that it's taking a long time to do so. It's taking a long time, and now we're soon going to have 3 Immortals for Showtime. Where Showtime still has had the better economy. Getting a 6th battery. Now there's 3 Immortals. Oof. Doesn't get the Stalker. Out to 18 Stalkers for SOS. Still down in economy, now switching into charge. That will help. Oh. So again, SOS tries to find an opening. Put up shades across the map. Showtime, he scouts these 3 zealots. That is a big tell. There should not be zealots at this stage of the game, so revealing all these zealots, let's confirm charge. SOS knows. Sorry, I meant to say Showtime knows. Nice catch. Gets a stalker. Bullying back SOS. Catching the pylon. Supply blocking SOS. Oh, Showtime going into glaives. Very aggressive. And Showtime, he's going to be pushing. He's going to be pushing once glaive finishes with his mass adepts, with his mass immortals. So now SOS he does back off. He's claiming his 3rd base, trying to catch back up. I mean, Showtime already getting his own 3rd, so a faster 3rd for Showtime. Still a higher probe count, still a better saturation, better economy. Glaives is almost done. The way this dynamic works, by the way, the kind of composition that Showtime is building up, the immortals are built to shut down all the stalkers, the adepts are built to shut down all the zealots. Remember, we have charge shots warping in. Showtime's answer to the charge shots are going to be mass glaive adepts. They are a short-term answer. They don't scale too well into a longer game, but I don't think Showtime intends for the game to last much longer, as it's building up to one big move out. Technically, charge shot Archon is more efficient if you can build up to critical mass. And the armies, they pass by each other. Base trade? Okay. I do think this is the best chance for SOS. Yep, SOS, he blinks in, going straight for the main. And we're just going for the base trade. Again, this is the best chance for our blue Protoss. Depowering the gateways. 3rd base doesn't matter. Showtime now pushing in towards the main. SOS is already there. Depowering everything. Yeah, depowers all the gateways. Again, this natural just buying time for SOS. SOS trying to get more warp ins. Trying to hold on, unless the natural will crumble. And Showtime is moving in. Same time the main base has fallen. Showtime did pull the boys away, so he did preserve his workers. Shades into the mineral line. The Archon does get a volley off, just one. Yeah, the Archon doing what it can. The immortals, they are choked up by the production, by the Sim City. But Showtime will still clean up. Yeah, we'll clean this up. Takes down all the Archons. Showtime throws down his own Nexus, taking the natural. And SOS, did he save any probes? The answer is 3. Okay. So SOS, he does have 3 workers. Yeah, they're spread out. SOS can afford a Nexus. But the reality here is the main army. SOS, he can never fight head-on. Now, technically, SOS's army is more mobile. True, like Mass Blink Stalker. So potentially, he could try to, say, snipe the Warp Prism, pick up a Sentry, pick up an Immortal, then blink away, right? There is potential here for SOS to out-control Showtime's army. Or maybe even out-position, backstab, and then kill the final buildings. Like, there's opportunity here. Or there's a chance. What SOS cannot do is fight head-on. If he fights head-on, if he gets cornered, then he will lose. SOS, he does throw down 2 pylons. And again, he can afford a Nexus. He has yet to throw one down. GG, never mind. GG, well played. As with that Showtime, he will claim the series 3-0. He will advance on to the upper bracket semis. GG. GG, well played. Again, there was a slim chance there for SOS, and technically, because Showtime had a full mining base, Showtime never had to move out. He could just chill. And it looked like he was just going to chill, get his main base, get his natural, a third base, and just macro from there and be more defensive. There was no need for him to be active on the map, which would have given SOS some opportunities to pick away at the army, but he was just chilling back at home. His new home. GG, well played with that. Showtime, he will claim the series. He will claim the series 3-0, advancing on. My condolences to SOS. Again, it was a rough series here when it came to the builds, when it came to the early game as well. Winding it back for this game, SOS, he went for a really awkward one base all in. It wasn't even, it was like, it was middle of the road here. Remember, it was a delayed proxy Twilight Council into a one base 3-gate blink all in, but then he took a third. Right, I say third base. I was 3-gate blink. He then took his natural, right? Then he expanded, which was really weird because then it's like, oh, so now you have less warp-ins. Now you have, you're missing a gateway. Now you're not as committed, and that means that your all-in is weaker, but your macro is also weaker as well because your natural is delayed. So it was very middle of the road there for SOS. Meanwhile, Showtime, again, his win condition was just defend, survive. He got his first, second, and third immortal. He held on. He shut down the all-in, and he just skyrocketed ahead. GG, well played. So again, a really awkward build out of SOS, which again wasn't as aggressive as it could have been, or it wasn't as greedy as it could have been, or macro oriented as it could have been. It was a little bit awkward there. GG, well played. With that, we are halfway through the broadcast. Let's catch up on the brackets. From the top, we have Big Gabe here in Marine. He took down Zan 3-2 to advance onto the upper bracket semis. Meanwhile, Showtime took down SOS 3-0. So we have some German on German action there in the upper brackets. We have Hero Marine versus Showtime. That'll be taking place tomorrow. Meanwhile, we have 2 more best of 5s ahead of us here. It is going to be Clem versus Lambo. That is up next on the channel, followed by Serral versus Reynor. Oh boy. We'll get there. We will get there. For now, though, we are going to be cutting to a break. Short break. Take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, drain your disruptors, massage your marines, and hydrate all of your hydras. We'll be back soon with Clem versus Lambo. See you soon. See you soon, Pappy. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the second half of the broadcast. Welcome back to the HomeStory Cup. HomeStory Cup 28 Revelation Retake Playoffs, part or day number 1. Here we go. We just wrapped up with our first 2 best of 5s with SOS versus Showtime and with Big Gabe versus Zown. Now we have 2 more best of 5s remaining. Up next is going to be Clem versus Lambo, and we will end the broadcast with Serral versus Reynor. Oh boy, 2 more best of 5s are ahead of us here, and let us jump into our ZBT. Let's go. A bit of a change of pace here. Our first ZBT of the evening. Let's go. Game 1 is going to be on Ruby Rock. Coming into this, Clem is going to be the favorite player. He is, again, the best Terran, or the best player in the world, arguably best Terran in the world at least, coming into this. But I'm always excited to see how our Zerg player here does approach, just because he's often known for his builds, for his strategy, often even does coach some other top Zerg players as well. I'm ready, I'm excited. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the German Zerg player, we have the Red Zerg representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Lambo. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the French Terran, the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Here we go. We have our TVZ, and I'm curious to see how Lambo has been adjusting to the new patch. Now, something that we have been seeing rise in popularity as of late has been these Hydra timings, right? I mean, in general, there's been a lot more variety in ZVT, which I do appreciate. A lot more builds have now become more accessible just because of all the changes made in the most recent patch. Some of those changes are in regards to Ling Bane Muta, for example. In general, Banelings have been buffed. Banelings now they have increased HP, so Banelings are now more viable. Previously, over the past 2-3 years, it has been very standard to open Roach. It's personally, I didn't really enjoy it, but very standard to have Roach-based openers in ZVT to survive the early game aggression, then to get into Ling Bane, or to get into Ultras, or get into Lurkers. But Roach-based play was very common. Nowadays, Ling Bane is more viable, so we have been seeing some more Ling Bane play, and we've been seeing a lot of variety there as well. Whether it's Ling Bane Muta, thanks to the buff to the Spire, Ling Bane, or even just Ling straight up into early Hydra tech, that has been very trendy from the Korean Zerg players like Solar and Shin. Very trendy as of late, going for these Hydra 3-base all-ins. Likewise, we've been seeing a lot of Ultra rushes. Reynor's been very fond of that, going Ling into Infestor, skipping Banelings and going straight into Ultras. So we'll see. We'll see what Lambo is fond of. For now, standard openers, hatch, gas, pool, nothing crazy, nothing too wild. Welcome to Ruby Rock. Now, first things first, welcome to one of the smallest maps in the map pool. Aggression is favored here, and Clem is known for his aggression. That's kind of the big difference between Clem and Maru. Maru, he is more known for longer, later, more turtle-heavy late game. Clem is more known for earlier mid-game aggression, and we've been seeing players like Serral even struggle against Clem's aggression. Oh boy. And there it is, early Roach Warren, Roach all in. So that's going to be a 2:30 Roach Warren timing. Lambo, he is skipping Ling speed, going for the all-in. Does make sense, as you mentioned here, very short rush distance by ground on Ruby Rock, so all-ins are favored. Clem, he gets 1 drone kill already, pulls away, but Clem does not get into the main. Clem does not scout. Ooh, and he's going for a 3rd CC. Fast 3rd CC here by Clem, a greedy economic build here. Meanwhile, Lambo mixing things up, going for a Roach all-in with Burrow. How does this work? Think of a Stalker all-in. Same kind of concept, where when you're going for like a 4-gate blink all-in or an 8-gate blink all-in, when you're going for Stalkers, you can blink away, preserve your Stalkers, and be hyper efficient with your army. Here it's similar. What you do with your Roaches is whenever they get low on HP, you burrow. You burrow the Roach, they survive, they regenerate their HP, and then you can unburrow and have an extra Roach basically, and keep the all-in going. So it's almost the equivalent of Blink Micro, but instead of blinking, you're burrowing. So you want to burrow your Roaches, you want to preserve them. Reaper Scout is denied. So far, so good. Lambo doing an amazing job so far when it comes to denying the scouting. And Roaches are moving out. So far, Clem has not seen the Roaches. And now he does. Yeah, he sees. Yeah, Clem, he sees, he knows, he's aware of the all-in. Back at home, Clem, he'll most likely have to evacuate the natural. Evacuate the natural, set up a bunker here on the high ground instead. He's going for the 3cc 111. It looks like it was late reaction. Yeah, late bunker here by Clem. Looks like he didn't get it. He didn't actually wasn't looking when he saw a glimpse of the Roaches. SCVs are pulled away. Again, Clem has to evacuate. And he's going to have to try to make a stand. Dust around. One Hellion goes down. He'll lose one. And one Hellion falling so far. There's the burrow. A little bit premature here. There's a scan shutting down the roaches. Ooh, and these roaches are being cleaned up. I say that more roaches have arrived. Banshee comes in to defend. Clem, he bleeds out 8 SCVs, but he can afford those losses. Bunker finishes and Clem holds. Yeah, Clem, he does hold on. Again, we had a value scan earlier. I do think that Lambert, he did kind of fumble the ball a little bit when it came to his burrow. Yeah, losing one. So basically what happened earlier, when Lambert was pushing up the ramp, instead of burrowing one roach at a time, he borrowed everything. Like, he borrowed all the roaches. So he was just lacking DPS. Then in came the scan, he got surrounded, he lost everything. He lost, what, 4 or 5 roaches at the start of the fight. And Lambert's in a rough position here. He's in a very rough position. Back at home, Lambo is droning. True, he's droning, he's resaturating, but the gases are late, the tech is late, the lair is going to be late. Everything is delayed here because of the roach all in. And remember, Clem, he has 3 CC. That's the issue. Clem, he can make 3 SCVs at a time, and he has mules as well. So Lambo, he needs to set up for a second wave. He's going for the lair. So Lambert, sorry, he's droning, saturating, getting to his lair. Looks like he's trying to set up for a longer macro game. It's not going to be easy. As you can see, Clem is going to be taking his 3rd. Lambert just now throwing down his 4th. Technically, the E-Bays and the upgrades are going to be faster for Clem. Lambert's own EVA chambers are delayed. And I worry about the move outs. Now, typically the tank move out, the tank timing with Stim is going to be hitting at 7 minutes, but because of the early aggression, like, the build itself is a little bit off. So the timings are all off. But we're expecting a move out with tanks, with Stim, with all the upgrades. With 1-1. Ooh, okay, I do like this. We do have an infestation bit, so Lambert, he has options. He can go for the hive, he can take up into hive tech, or we could even see some safety infestors, or even go into swarm host play. What's it gonna be? Safety infestors would make the most sense. Swarm host would be more fancy. Melee upgrades. Yeah, we're going for infestors. We're going for Lingbane. Meanwhile, Clem is still building up his tanks. He's still working on 1-1 upgrades, but before that, he's going for his double drop. So Clem is being more active sooner. Banshee pokes in, gets 3 drones. Double drop on the left-hand side. They're the safety infestors. But Clem, he wants that 4th. He shouldn't get it. Does get the mineral line though. Jesus, 8 drones go down. And does he get the expansion? It looks like he might. Yeah, throws out the auto, so he just goes to the army instead. Snipes one of the queens. Takes on all the roaches. Jesus. And again, these are 0-0 Marines as well, by the way. Crazy trades. One Marine for 11 drones, 1 queen and 3 roaches. Ay. And this is why we mentioned that Clem is ahead. Like, Clem, the damage that Lambert dealt was not good enough. It was not good enough. Lambert, he had to do more crippling damage. Clem takes the lead. Now, what I will say is that Lambert has potential with the infestors. If he can land a fungal, he can shut this down, for sure. He has 2 fungals. Clem does take note. Clem does notice. Now moving out with his other double drop. Going for multi-pronged aggression. Let's see if Lambert can keep up. Kind of blows up into the main. Gets the unload off, gets a queen. Yeah, queen goes down, trades well against the Zerglings. Can he deny the upgrades? He shouldn't be able to. Can be forced to pick up. Forced to pick up. The medevac does get caught. Nice pick up on the medevac. And Lambert, he is rushing to ultras. So he's trying to rush into ultras. If you notice, I believe Lambo did skip his bathing nest. Oh no, sorry, got his bathing nest. Just didn't get bathing speed. So did play it safe. And again, trying to head into those ultras. Clem, he saw the hive. He's aware. He's aware of the hive tech. We're now going to be forced back. And Lambo is now going to have his own power spike with those ultras. Now, I say that he is lacking upgrades. So far, he has 1-1 ultras without kindness plating. So Lambo has to wait for those upgrades to kick in. That's Clem is being as annoying as possible. Lambo is max, but remember, Lambo supply is inflated. The soup is lying to you. It's inflated due to all the roaches. So Lambo has to be very careful with how he engages. As he moves out, Clem moves in. Does force to cancel. Lambo commits. Nice pass on the Liberator. Liberator does go down. Planetary does hold its own for the time being, though. Massive fungal, there's no follow-up. Yeah, the fungal means nothing. Here the army gets shut down, sniping one of the ultras. There's 2 ultras left. Remember, this is an anti-timing. Kind of spending finishing up after the fight. Ay. I was curious as to why the ultra melted so quickly, but a brutal anti-timing. You can see 2 is finishing and kind of splitting finishes after the engagement. Ultras, they trickle in. Oof. They're going to be focused down. That's Miles. Liberates his sack. Libs, they stacked up. Lambo is going to keep on rushing forward. Weighs down to 2 ultras. Kills the CC. That's a kill on the command center. Gets into the planetary as well. Lambo, can he break through? Can he do it? Bailey's they smash into the mineral line. And they smash in. I think it's all or nothing for Lambo. Oof. Bleeding out the ultras. Gets 14 SCV kills. That is nice damage. But Clem holds. Yeah, Clem, he is holding. Oof. Fungal doesn't quite land. Nice last second split. And Lambo, he's just run out of steam. He has to pull away. He has to back up. Has to wait for the ultras. And Lambo, he did do some decent damage here. He broke the expansion. He got into the mineral line. True. But it did cost Lambo a lot of ultras. It cost him 5. 5 ultras went down. Nope. Clem, he's nice southern base. And the northern expansion. Oh, it's trying to at least. Dragging into the minefield. They have massive mine shots. Oof. The mine shots are popping up. Tanks move in. The ultras are on their own and they're being targeted down. Once again, ultras, they need support. They need support, back. That's the 2 ultras. Oh my god. Yeah, I'll pick up. Clem, he's still rallying. He does have momentum. He's gonna keep pushing. He's gonna keep pushing. You notice how close he is to breaking this position. The queens will help. Okay. Queens are moving in. They have transfuse. Or what? 3, 4 transfuse. Oh, but liberation has arrived. Massive shots going off. And the army gets punished. At the same time, nice fighting. Run by 12 SCVs. And the they get across the map. But the expansion is being broken. And it breaks the expansion. Try to force friendly fire. Okay. Cheeky moves, even catching a medevac. And on bad out of Lambo. Once again, Liberators they stack up. Lamber trading as best he can. The army is heavily overstimmed. Can he get a swipe off? One swipe, happy. Oh, good. Not quite. Clem, he maintains his army. Not his economy, though. Oh, no, never mind. His fourth base is back up. Clem is saturated. The one thing here that's going for Lamber, which if you've noticed, is lack of Ghost Academy. Like, lack of Ghosts. Lack of Academy. Oh, sorry, the Academy is done, but again, no Ghosts are out with the main army. So no snipes. And again, Clem can't afford it. His main base floated over to take his fourth. Doesn't get the Viper. Viper survives. Yeah, Viper does survive. Clem rotating out. I mean, it's still very tense. Still very tense. Oh god. That's finally got a juicy connection. Wouldn't mind they pop off. Lambo getting into 3-3. Ultras are getting well upgraded. Ooh, and we're base trading. Yeah, we're trading bases here. Lambo here lose center left. So at the same time, Clem should lose center right. He's forced to lift. Saves the CC. Kites back, pulling the army into the minefield. Oh my god. Yeah, mines popping up. The Lings are cleaned up. And Lambo does overextend. Then you have a lot of units here. While Clem is still being active. The Ultras are so low on HP. They're all 3 deep in the red. No. Yeah, he's just getting picked apart here. So it was all 3 Ultras. Oh, did I say 3? Getting up to 4. 4 Ultras go down. Again, dragged into the minefield. Crucial that these wood mines reset. As Clem breaks out, he breaks out. Knocking down another expansion. Lambert's struggling here. This is his mining base. Like that's his most crucial mining base. He has no mining. Yeah, no mining, no economy. Lambert, he can't afford to remax. Not like this. Not like this. Then we're trying to catch up the Marauders. Not quite able to. Does nice mining. Then we're retaking the center base. Then it has an economy. His natural thermostat is mined out. His main base is mined out. We got 5 hatches. Soon to be 4. As Lambert trying to commit in. A nice bile, but limited anti-air. Paramount is denied. Nice fungal though. Fungal lands. Oh god, but we have a flanking army coming in. Yeah, the Ultras, they get surrounded. Oh. Crazy stuff up there from Clem, but he does overwhelm. Takes out every single Ultra, and Lambert, he's done. Lambert, he has no army left. GG gets called, and Clem takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Again, Lambert, towards the end there, he had no money, he had no resources, he had no bases. Shout out to Clem for being so active with his drops, knocking down expansion after expansion after expansion. Lambert, he just ran out of money, he was broke, couldn't afford those Ultras, and even though Clem never got into his own Ghost Academy and his own Ghost production, like he was still able to hold his own with his Mass Marauder, with his Mass Liberator. We saw that Lambert had a bit of a shaky start. He initially went for the Roach Wall in, but he failed to kill Clem. Clem, he was able to recover. cover. I will say that Lambert did a great job stabilizing when it came to his upgrades and the quality of the army, but the economy was struggling. GG, well played. With that, we're going to be getting into game number 2. Clem takes a lead, but hey, Lambert, he held his own. He did hold his own there in that last game. Did have some strong moments as well. GG, well played. As that leads us into Tourmaline. Another one of these smaller maps. Jesus, what were the Vetoes, Pappy? And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the German Zerg player. We have the Red Zerg representing Shopify down in the series, but we'll see if he can bounce back and make a series out of this. It is Lambo. And spawning in the right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the French Terran player. We have the Blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. That's quite a name. You're a great caster, Mr. VIP. Oh, thank you, Bobby. Thank you. I appreciate it. Triple X, Piff Demon, 420, Triple X. A classic gamer name. I appreciate it. Aye. Up there with XXX, Sephiroth 420 XXS. It's up there. It's up there. But here we go, we're getting into game 2. Welcome to Tourmaline. Now, if you recall, something that we emphasized about Ruby Rock was the size of the map, and that is why it made sense that Lambert went for a roach all in, and why the game was as aggressive as it was. Welcome to Tourmaline. Tourmaline is an even more aggressive map, smaller map in the map pool, but also more open bases. As you can see here, we have a wide entrance into the third, we have a wide entrance in between the bases, we have a wide entrance here towards the left-hand side as well. There aren't many choke points. It can be very difficult to turtle up and build up into a longer later game, so we're expecting aggression from both players, whether it's early roaches again from Lambo or potentially even a 2-1-1 out of Clem, or even a 1-1-1. True, we'll see. Keep an eye on our players. Clem moving out with his SCV scout. This time we'll keep an eye on Lambo's gas to see if he does go for a link speed or not, bearing in mind that last game he skipped link speed and he went into a 2:30 Roach Warren timing. We're at 2 minutes. You can see that Lambert, he pulled, never mind. He pulled out, then he pulled back in. Usually you don't pull back into gas here. Curious. Reaper, let's push forward. Yeah, Reaper pokes in, and Lambo, he's staying on 2 bases. Oh my god, and now we see why he pulled in. So again, his gas was very suspicious. I thought it was going to be another Roach Warren, but no, that is a 2:35-ish lair timing. Very fast lair to Lambo, and Lambo did not expand. You can see Clem is checking. Clem is checking for the third base. He confirms there is no third expansion. Something is wrong. And Clem is trying to confirm. He does check if the gas is at the natural. Clem did not get into the main base. So in Clem's mind, this could be a couple of things. It could be 2-base lair. It could be 2-base roach. Regardless, 2-base aggression. Behind this, Lambo is going, Clem is going for a third CC into a 3 CC 2-1-1. Okay, so this is an economic build, but this is leading to a stronger stim timing. Faster second racks, faster stim timing instead. A more biocentric mid game, and a more aggressive mid game as well, compared to last game. Meanwhile, there's a safety Roach Warren. Alright, now going into the fast layer like this, there are 2 options. One is 2-base muta, right? Could go 2-base muta with a Spire into extra gases. Otherwise, we do have our Roach setup. Layer is now done. Going for the Overseer Scout. Extra gases are being taken. I still don't want to put a Spire off the table here. It's still a possibility. But if it was, he would have thrown one down by now. True. So he's just rolling up on 2 bases. Hellions there. Oh no, they slip in. That should not have happened. He does check the main, does check the natural even. Gases are scouted. Does check gases, but he will not get into the main base. Sorry, the Reaper did. And Clem saw everything. Yeah, he saw the gases. He got behind the mineral line, saw the lair as well. Okay, there wasn't a wall. Hero. Jesus. As Clem, he gets back in. Yeah, he gets back in. He also scouted the Roach Warren researching. And he once again double checks to make sure there's no hidden spire. So very, very vigilant here from Clem. Checking twice now. There is no spire. There is no infestation pit. He's now aware that it is just 2 base roach. Still no third, by the way. So 2 base roach all in. Roaches are amassing. Back at home, Clem, he is building up his bio army. Lack of bunker is concerning. Bearing in mind that because this is a 2-1-1 follow-up, it means that factory production is delayed. So later cyclones, later tanks. Remember, it's a heavier bio composition instead. Without a bunker, it's going to be a tough hold. Here come the Ravagers. Bunker's now on the way. Will be done in time. Here comes a creep highway. And here comes Lambo. Lambo so far, he has 3 Ravagers, morphing in 2 more, getting up to 5. Overseer gets caught. The bunker, it looks like it will finish in time. And Clem, you may have to pre-pull the boys to repair. Yeah, the boys are being pulled. Did you repair in time? Tank does siege up. The tank is behind the bunker to make sure it doesn't get piled. The wall is going to fall. One of the deepers at least. And remember, the longer this game goes on, the better it is for Clem. Clem behind this second tank. Second tank is on the way. Combat shields are on the way as well. Files, they do connect. Bunker still survives. Nice control there out of Clem. The bunker, oh my god, the bunker's immortal. The bunker stands strong. Massive tank shots going off as well. And Lambert, this is looking bleak for the Zerg player. This is not good enough. Already bleeding out 9 roaches and a Ravager. Now there's a second tank. God, the Deeper refuses to die. Clem is running out of money though. Ooh. Yeah, you can see the reason the repair stopped is because he ran out of minerals. I'm still holding on. They're going back to mining. Does recognize it again. He's running out of resources. Going double eBay in the middle of the defense. That's crazy. He's being all in. He throws on 2 bays. GG gets called and he shuts it down. And Clem, he takes game number 2. GG. The confidence back. Aye, aye, aye. GG, well played. Again, we saw that Clem was able to scout, able to confirm. Unfortunately, Lambo, he was unable to deny the scouts. I'm referring to the Reaper Hellion. The Reaper Hellion was able to barely slip by. Slipped by the Queen, slipped into the natural, into the main base, twice actually, to reconfirm there was no Spire. Up until that point, it was a possibility in Clem's mind. And ideally, maybe even Clem, he throws down an eBay and he throws down some safety turrets, or he prioritizes buyer production and he's not as set up. Just having that that bit of ambiguity about what you're doing can actually do a lot of damage in its own way. Unfortunately, Clem got a full scout. He got a full scout. He got full confirmation as to what was going on. And with that, he was able to prepare back at home. I was a little bit concerned that the bunker was too late, but you saw the bunker finish up just in time to defend. And with that, GG, Clem does extend his lead, and now we're going to be loading into game number 3. Going to be loading into 10,000 feet. What were the vetoes? What the hell? What I mean by that, fun fact, game 1 was Ruby Rock, game 2 was Tourmaline, game 3 is 10,000 feet. These are the 3 most aggressive maps in the map pool. Straight up. And aggressive maps usually favor Terran, like, I'll be honest. Early game aggression from Zerg is not typically as powerful, as strong, so I'm a little bit surprised, but let's go. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the German Zerg player, the German Zerg player himself. We have the Red Zerg representing Shopify Rebellion. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. It is Lambo. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the French Terran player, the Blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Let's go. Clem with a comfortable 2-0 lead in the best of 5, and Lambo, the pressure is on. And again, just to kind of reiterate, typically Zerg players are more comfortable on maps like the Old Republic, or maps like, I mean, mainly the Old Republic. Even Celestial Enclave is okay. I mean, that could favor Terran too much just because it's a little bit more turtle heavy and a little bit more choky. True. White rabbits. But they may have been vetoed by Clem. Mothership, it's a little bit more messy, as it is a 3-player spawn map. But interesting, just interesting that Lambo, he kind of vetoed in such a way that's made this a much more aggressive series instead. Might also kind of indicate that Lambo's not too confident in a longer macro game against Clem, which is understandable. Like, again, Clem is the best Terran player in the world, so it does feel like Lambo, he has taken a much more aggressive approach, and that's been reflected in the games themselves. Remember, game 1, Lambo went for an early Roach push and an early Roach all-in. Game 2, Lambo went for a later 2-base Roach all-in. Game 3, do we have another Roach all-in? it's been non-stop Roach timings and Roach all-ins, game after game after game. Of course, game 1, the game continued on into a longer game after the aggression. That's true. So he got some macro out of game 1 at least. Here we go. For now, Lambo does go for his third base on time, and this time, for the first time this series, link speed. Oh, hello. That's unusual. So very quickly here, going into link speed is a little more standard, but do you notice something? Lambo's mining gas. This is unusual. You do not mine gas after link speed without good reason, without an idea of going into tech. So typically, continued gas mining can lead into a Bane bust. So early Baneliness into a Bane bust. It can lead into an early Roach run, into a Roach all-in and a Roach push, or it lead into early lair into potentially 2-base Muta. But I feel like with Muta play, you typically cancel link speed to have extra gas for a faster layer. So once again, Lambo is being very unorthodox. 3 games in a row, but with a different build. Like, I appreciate that every game in this series we have seen something different out of Lambo. Meanwhile, Clem, we've been focusing a lot on Lambo. Clem, once again, same build as last game. That is a 3rd CC before Starport into a 2nd Rax. So 3 CC 2-on-1 out of Clem. Meanwhile, that was a 3-10 layer timing. So this technically is a little bit later than last game. What was it? Last game was like 2:40-ish or 3 minutes. So last game we had a slightly earlier layer. Here it's a little bit later, but still very fast, and we still have more gas mining. So a hyper fast layer here by Lambo at 310. The potential for 2-base Muta is there, otherwise 2-base Roach. If we were casting Miyamaka, we could say like 2-base Hydra. That's a very niche build. Oh, Nidus all in. Okay, Link Queen, yeah, that's another option. I was so like Roach like focused because of this series, but 100% Link Queen Nidus all in is being set up. There's no Overlord here on the right hand side. Oh, there's no Overlord on the left though. You can see Clem is on patrol. But ideally you'd have an Overlord here as well. Otherwise this could just be a Link Queen drop a Lord all in. Yeah, okay, Link Queen drop a Lord. So here come the drop a Lords. You don't often see this variation of all in against Terran. You see it against Protoss, but against Terran is a little bit more rare. Here we go, drop into the main. Because of the 2-on-1, we're going to have excess of Marines, but few Hellions. True. That will benefit Lambo. No bunker. Oh, that's also true. Yeah, lack of bunker. It's going to be a tri-pronged attack. We have a drop into the main, drop into the natural, and we have the main army here towards the natural base as well. It's all coming together. Meanwhile, big shout to Sian in the chat. Obrigado. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to the Raiders. Here we go. The army does collapse in. Queens they drop off. The boys are being pulled. Every boy is being pulled. Nice control there by Clem. He pulls away. Yeah, he pulls away. He preserves his Marines. Very nice. The boys, they buffer. Lings are going down. And a crazy reaction. The Queens are isolated. Yeah, the Queens are on their own as well. And Clem, he will completely shut this down. Wow. Again, such a quick reaction. All the Lings do fall. The Queens are going to try to get the hell out of here. A tank has arrived as well. The all-in has failed. And Lambo, he's in a rough position here. That was meant to end the game. So I was, without a bunker, I thought that was game. I thought that was going to be game there. But Clem, he was so quick to pick up and pull away. Just pull all the way behind the main base. GG gets called. The all-in fails. And Clem will claim the series 3-0. GG. GG, well played. But again, the reaction for Clem to pick up the Marines, to boost all the way behind the mineral line, to pull every single boy, and what that did was it just bought time. It just bought time, and he was also able to make use of the Sim City. He created his own choke point in the main base. He was able to make use of his CC and his Raxes, create this choke point. Lings are of course a melee based unit, so they surface area does matter against mass Ling run-bys and mass Ling all-ins. Lings, they could not get us around, they could not get on top of the Marines. Nice positioning there out of Clem. GG. GG, well played. Very quick reaction. Crazy. But GG, well played, Clem. He will claim the series. He will shut down every all-in here from Lambo. I will say the game one was the closest, of course. That was the game where Lambo, he was able to kill, was it 9 to 12? It was like 9 to 12 SCVs on the low ground. He was able to cripple Clem and then tried to macro out of it. If you recall, I did emphasize that after that damage, it was not enough to kill, and I would say that Clem still took a lead. If you remember Clem, he was able to recover quite quickly because he defended with a 3cc setup, and he was able to resaturate on 3 bases, build up into his bio, kill the 4th base, and have it back and forth. Lambert survived until Ultras, and then we saw that more late game back and forth like intensity between like the Ultra base composition of Lambo and like the bio liberator out of Clem. And game 1 was very close. It was very clutch. It was very back and forth after the aggression. But game 2 and game 3 were a little bit more one-sided. It was a little bit more, you know, Clem would scout, Clem would recognize, and Clem would defend. I guess what's more important or more impressive is that this last game, game number 3, Clem didn't scout. He did not confirm the all-in. It was just a last-second reaction out of Clem instead. That's what's impressive to me. He didn't have that like forewarning as to what was happening. Crazy. But GG. GG, well played. With that, we are now getting ready here for the 4th and final series of the broadcast. Is going to be a ZVZ between Serral and Reynor. These two, they face off quite often in these big premier events. It's a bit of a shame that they do. Ideally, they want to spread out. The reason why they're playing this early on in the playoffs is because Reynor did finish in 2nd place in the group stage, Serral in 1st. So typically the way that works after the groups, whoever finishes in 1st place plays against another player in another group that finished in 2nd. So did line up that Serral played against Reynor here in the quarterfinals. Oh boy. Now, historically in ZVZ, Serral, he has a heavy win rate, a win record against Reynor, but we have been seeing some really intense back and forth, and Reynor ZVZ has been improving, and we've been having some really clutch and really close ZVZs between these two players. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I still remember they played at EWC, right? Am I crazy? Hold on. Was it Esports World Cup? There was I think it was EWC, or maybe it wasn't Thunderfire. It must have been EWC, where they played and where they competed, and where Reynor, he had a game 1. Like we were reacting to it as well. We were co-streaming, and Reynor, he had the game 1. He had it in the bag, and then he overextended. He got overconfident, and he lost that lead. Yeah. It was EWC because he had the losers interview afterwards, and he also spoke about it, about how he got too excited. He got too aggressive. He overextended. God, that was so sad. Yeah, it was Esports World Cup. Serral, he won 3-2 over Reynor. 3-2. It was so close. Reynor, he had that series, baby. He had it. We'll see if he can redeem himself here in the rematch. We'll see if he can redeem himself, as we're going to be loading into White Rabbit. But thank you so much. Thank you so much, Cian, for the raid. Obrigado. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great cast. I'm assuming you were casting. Hope you had a great time. But here we go. We have our fresh best of 5, and spawning in the top right hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the red Zerg player. We have the red Zerg, the Finnish Zerg, representing Basilisk. It is Serral. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Zerg player. We have the Italian Zerg representing Basilisk, as well as this is a Basilisk team kill. It is Reynor. Here we go. Now, when it comes to ZVZ between these two players, typically we expect hyper aggression. It is very common for either of the two to cut workers, to throw down an early Roach Horn, an early Evo Chamber, an early +1 carapace timing, an early all-in, and an early flood. It is, again, typically a lot of hyper aggression, a lot of scouting, a lot of realizing whether or not your opponent's droning, whether we have fake drones and fake saturation, fake setups as well. It can be quite intense between these two. I mean, in general, just in ZVZ at this level of play. It is quite rare to have like a more stable, a bit of a slower early game into slower mid game into Roach versus Roach battles. That's a rarer sight. Not saying it never happens. I'm sure it might happen like once in this series. But usually the games are more intense than that. But we'll see. We'll see. Another thing, of course, to bear in mind is that in latest patch, mutaplay is more accessible. Mutaplay is more viable. And we do see a lot of mutaplay in ZVZ nowadays as well. Due to the reduced build time of the Spire. Scouting is that much more paramount in ZVZ. I mean, it always was, but even now more so. Just because the Spire is a bigger threat. But now, hatch gas pool versus hatch gas pool. Standard opener, standard setups. Everything's looking normal so far. We're calming down. I see the user chat. Is there somewhere where you can see the player's APM on this interface? I believe there is a hotkey for that. I don't think I know it because I never do use it. But yeah, it's typically not something that I pan to. Oh, where do we go? I think it's one of these. I'll mess around with it later. Meanwhile, we are taking our third bases. From here, standard Balin has timing as well. Serral throws down his nest, so does Reynor. Everything looking normal. So just calming down and getting in towards our early to mid game. From here, we're keeping an eye on any big Ling flood. We have 10 Lings on the way for Serral. We have 14 Lings on the way for Reynor. So we are going to start to be assertive and aggressive here. We're going to start to move out. So in the chat, did Reynor used to play Protoss to avoid ZVZ? Yes, yes. That was the case a couple of years ago. Like 2023-ish, right? 2023-ish era StarCraft. He would do that before, but basically Reynor, he started doing that before Clem did. Like Clem's switch to Protoss happened at the end of 2024. Reynor was doing that back in like 2022, 2023. Oh, as Bratok did lag out. Ah, my Bratok. But yes, Reynor, he did used to do that. Clem was not the first. He's the most popular. He's the most successful doing that. True. So he got a lot of notoriety. Meanwhile, Reynor, he's not droning. Reynor, he got drones very, very early. Here at 30, he's going for nothing but Lings. He's moving out with his own Ling main aggression. And we'll see if Serral can keep up. Oh. So far, does trade. Yeah, does trade with our 4 Banelings left over. Serral so far is holding. A couple Lings, they do slip by. Banelings, they're whirling into the middle line as well. They're trying to. Oh, they do trade 2-2. Still 2 Banelings left. Oh, and the Banelings, they're going to be wasted here. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, miscontrol out of Serral with that Queens getting surrounded. Serral, he's being broken, losing 1, 2, 3 Queens. And Reynor, he has done it. He has broken the natural. He's pushing in behind us. We have Roach production on the way for Serral. But again, one wrong move can cost you the game. Oh, speaking of, Serral, he does come in. Yeah, 2 Banelings left over. Barely holding on. And Serral, he's buying time for his Roaches. Oh, yeah, massive connection. Serral, he's buying time. Roach doesn't, sorry, Bailey doesn't quite make it in. The Roaches are out. And so he's holding. He's barely holding on. He's trying to. Oh, God. Okay, he's trying to hold on at the same time. Lings, they get across the map. Ooh, 9 drones going down. Reynor losing a lot of workers here back at home. It does lose 11 drones. And Serral holds. Serral, he holds on, he defends. Serral, he did lose every single queen in the defense. It was a messy defense out of Serral, but he survives with 30 drones. Meanwhile, we have 19 workers for Reynor. Reynor, he was completely all-in, now even more so. And he's running out of steam. Reynor, he cannot afford the all-in, not anymore. Reynor, he's broke. Surrounds a Roach. Bailing's almost done. Jesus. Yeah, Bailing does complete. Does complete here, and Serral, he's just running out of steam. So sorry, Serral. I'm gonna say Reynor. The other one. The other Basilisk player. Aye. Reynor, he's running out of steam. He's got one final fight in him. How many Banelings? 8. 8 Banelings. Now morphing in the 9th. Reynor, he has to be so careful. Okay. Reynor, he does run away. Oof. Baneling does connect. There are 3 Banelings left. 2 defensive Banelings for Serral. Down to 2. Sorry, down to 3. Yeah, he's holding. Yeah, he's holding on his zoning away, buying more time for more roaches. Reynor, he baits out 1 Baneling. There's 2 left. No, and GG gets called. Yeah, Reynor, he's run out of steam. There's nothing remaining here, and Serral takes game number 1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Serral, he does take a lead in the series. Again, Reynor, he was completely all in. We saw that early. He cut workers at 30 drones, 3 bases, went for a massive link flood across the map. And initially, Reynor was doing well. Remember, Reynor, he baited out some of the Banelings. Serral had some miscontrol early on with his own defensive Banelings. He got surrounded. He lost all 3 queens, and Reynor was pushing into the natural. I will say that Reynor, he did fall for a bit of a bait, which was going for the mineral line. So he did spend some Banelings going for drones, whereas he could have saved them just to make sure he was able to deal with the Ling reinforcements. In the end, Serral did barely buy enough time for his roaches and barely hold on. Not just that, but having the wherewithal, having the free supply to counterattack. Remember, what really won Serral this game wasn't the defense, it was the offense. He got across the map, he crippled the economy, and he knocked Reynor down to 19 drones. He knocked him down to a 1 base economy. Couldn't afford to keep going, couldn't afford the all-in. GG, well played. So again, a crazy counterattack there by Serral, able to cripple Reynor, and now we're loading into game number 2. Happened twice, where he killed all the workers, killed 11 drones, and he also killed the 3rd base. But here we go, spawning in the top left hand corner. Oh god, he's swap pulling. Top left hand corner here of Ruby Rock, we have our Italian Zerg player going for the 12 pool, representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player, the Finnish Zerg representing Basilisk. It is Serral. Here we go. So we have a 12 pool by Reynor. He could potentially 12 pool drone pool as well. Otherwise, this could be a 12 pool into an expansion into a longer game. We'll keep an eye on Reynor. I also want to give a little bit of context as to what was said earlier, actually, referring to Reynor used to playing Protoss to avoid ZVZ. If you recall, Reynor, I believe it was in 2023 or 2024. The years, they blend together a little bit, but one of those years, Reynor, he spent a lot of time in Korea. He went to Korea in preparation for EWC, and he did state that he was specifically focusing on his ZVZ, just because, of course, in Korea, you do get better ZVZ practice. In general, you get better practice in general, but he was able to get a lot of ZVZ practice against Rogue, against Dark. This was before Dark retired, of course. Dark, Solar, DRG, like Su as well. This is before Su retired, Topol Drone Pool. But Reynor, he got a lot of practice, and he did improve his ZVZ, and that's when he stopped playing Protoss to avoid ZVZ. But he did spend a lot of time on it. From here, again, 12 pool drone pool, 1 base all in out of Reynor, and Serral, he has yet to scout. Yet to confirm. Serral himself goes for a hatch gas pool, standard opener out of Serral. So far, this is lining up for Reynor. Links are spotted. Serral, he knows. So he's now aware of the 12 pool, and now he's aware of the drone pool. So he sees, he knows. It's all going to come down to his main base defense. Spine crawlers are on the way. And Serral, can he hold on? There's 3 spine crawlers in production. Reynor has to be careful not to be surrounded. Has to be careful. Does deny mining. Denying mining. Lings are on the way. So he commits. Oh! Does commit. Dust around one of the drones. Spine crawlers are halfway done. Reynor has to buy a little bit more time. He's buying a little bit more time here. Dancing with the army. 1 spine gets surrounded. As you see, Reynor, he does engage. So far losing 2 drones. There's the first cancellation. There's the second cancellation, but 1 spine crawler does finish. Is it enough though? Yeah, plenty of things pop out, and with that, Serral, he holds. Yeah, he completely cleans up. Very patient play here by Serral. The queen is out. He abandons the main base, mining the natural, and Serral's fine. Yeah, Serral, he's fine here at the natural. Again, the Spine Cooler can't really threaten the natural just because it has to waddle down onto the low ground. And as time goes on, it's becoming better and better for Serral. But again, just really patient play. I'm used to seeing more defensive Spine Crawlers instead from the defending player, but like Serral, he's again, he just shut this down. GG gets called. Serral with a dominant performance here with a clean defense. Serral, he will take a 2-0 lead in the series. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Winding it back here. So I'm used to seeing typically when you scout, and I guess it's when you scout the drone pool earlier, but if you can confirm a 12 pool drone pool, usually what we see is for the defending Zerg player to hide some drones at the natural, let the natural finish some spine crawlers, build some spine crawlers, and then pull down to the safetyness of those spine crawlers and defend your natural instead, and just abandon your main base, which we kind of saw, except Serral, he did so without even getting any spine crawlers up and running. He was just really patient with his drones, with his lings, making his queen at the natural on the main base, and really patient when it comes to dealing with those 2 spine crawlers as well. One did finish, but one wasn't going to achieve anything. GG. So really clean drone drilling there by Serral. Very impressive. That was crazy. Calm down, Serral, calm down. As that leads us into game number 3. Serral, he's up 2-0 and he's 1 game away from claiming the series. Let's go. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Celestial Enclave, we have the Finnish Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing Basilisk, leading the series 2-0. And can he pull off the clean sweep? It is Serral. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have the Italian Zerg player, the blue Zerg representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. Here we go, and welcome to Celestial Enclave for the first time tonight. For the very first time, Celestial Enclave is one of those maps where you can be hyper greedy. Speaking of, we do have our hatcheries that are going to be on the way, but the reason why we expect hyper greed and we do expect gasless openers here is because of the 3-base setup. First things first, this is a rare site, ramp into the natural. So this is a very defendable natural base. Because of the ramp leading into the natural, it does mean that you can wall up and wall off and pull off a defense without link speed. Without banelings, with an Eva Chamber, Roach Warren, and a Queen, you can wall up on 3 bases because it's a pocket base as well. So again, there it is. It is hatch pool, no gas from Serral. Likewise, Reynor, no gas either. Oh, Reynor going one step further. So Serral is going hatch pool, Reynor is going hatch. So hyper greed here is the name of the game on Celestial Enclave. Not just in ZVZ, but in PvP. No, maybe not so much in PvP. Even in PvP. Yeah, PvP in every single matchup. In every single matchup, it's just a game of greed. Cut as many corners as you can and try to get away with it. So Reynor going for the greediest build possible, even just ignoring his pocket base as well. Very greedy, and Serral doesn't know. Serral's being greedy as well, but not as much. So I do give the edge to Reynor early on. Reynor has the edge. Serral pokes in, confirms the hatchery timing, but he hasn't seen much else. Hasn't seen much else here. But because it's all about cutting corners, we're going to be skipping tech as well, getting into the Roach versus Roach phase, or potentially even the Muta phase. It's just a very different dynamic, and this also kind of shows, I mean, we bring this up all the time, but like every map does influence the game. More aggressive maps favor aggression, smaller maps I should say, these more defensive maps, they favor greed. They allow for very different kind of game states. As Serral still takes no gases, does go hatch pool into a 3rd base, does go for the pocket base as well. So again, Serral, he's being greedy in his own way, but he's still 1 step behind, especially because he's going for the half base instead of the full base that Reynor has achieved. Serral, he now sees the creep. Yeah, he sees the creep, so now he confirms, you took the fast 3rd. So now Serral's aware. Serral, he's aware he's behind, and the problem is that Serral, he will stay behind. Like, he can't do anything. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Attack with slowlings? Like, again, there's just nothing to be aggressive with. Meanwhile, we have a drone scout from Serral confirming the gases, confirming the tech, or the lack of tech. So now sees a second gas geyser on the way, and he confirms the roach warren. Now, as I mentioned before, something that is viable here, something that is going to be an option, is mutaplay. Going for a fast layer into mutas. So far, both players are being safe, both players are walling up their naturals. And there are the layers. So layer for Serral, layer for Reynor. Now, something that we have been seeing a little bit more of in this latest patch, because of the accessibility of Spire play and of muta play, is muta versus muta. That is a possibility here. So we could end up in muta wars. That is a possibility. Plus one range on the way tells us that Serral is not going into mutas. Same with Reynor. Okay. Technically, we could see a Spire, but if we do see a Spire, in my mind, it would just be for like 5 or 6 mutas just to harass, not to commit into. So we have more gases being taken. Oh, okay. Overload speed on the way for Serral. Interesting. This might just be for scouting. As I mentioned before, scouting is paramount here for ZVZ. We mentioned that at the start of the series. And this should be to just dive into the bases. Yep, here comes the Overseer lined up with overload speed as well. To confirm gases, droning, and tech. Again, we need to confirm whether or not there's a Spire. We know there isn't one, but Serral doesn't. Serral's moving in. Both players are droned up to around 70. Sully checks behind the mineral line, confirms nothing in the main. Yeah, there's nothing in the main base. Drop load on the way as well to harass. Checks nothing at the natural. And checks nothing at the third. But it confirms all the gases, all the droning, all the saturation. Nothing but roach production out of Reynor. We should be seeing nothing but roaches out of Serral as well. Remember, Reynor, he has had the slightly better economy for longer, so that's why Reynor has the larger army supply, is because of the openers. Like we mentioned at the beginning, we kind of glossed over it, but again, Reynor has been ahead for all of this game. So he does have a larger roach army. Now, going for drop lords like this is a way to recover, it's a way to harass, it's a way for Serral to make up for his deficit. And we'll see if he can. Reynor's pushing. Yeah, he's setting up the creep highway. Reynor moves out. As he moves out, we have the roach drop into the main. Does Reynor get distracted? Otherwise, Reynor, who could just push through the main army. Yeah, reinforcements getting caught. Reynor moving in. Wow, they do graze the roaches. Again, Reynor trying to force his way up the ramp as well. And he does have more roaches, but defender's advantage for Serral. But sorry, please, that's 2 Ravagers as well. Yeah, Ravagers are going down. We do see the low ground here in control of Reynor. Pushing into the mineral line, and Reynor, he may just have too much here. Yeah, he has too much. Breaks the main army, breaks through the queens, and we have a series. We have a back and forth. It's not going to be one-sided. It's not going to be a 3-0. As Serral, he'll lose every queen. He'll lose every Ravager. I say that Reynor, he does back off. I do feel like he could have peeled off like even 3 roaches, like 2 to 3 roaches to get into the mineral line. Could have achieved so much more damage. I mean, regardless, Reynor's almost maxed. Oh no, the Jumper Lord. Ooh, full Jumper Lord goes down. And Reynor now can focus on the main push, and you can see he's up 40 supply. And again, that upgrade lead, sorry, that supply lead, that all just comes down from the opener. That all just comes down to the opener. And we actually brought up this, talking points in the previous matchup, in the PvP, in the mirror matchup. We spoke about how when you fall behind, when you stay behind, in mirror matchups, like it affects you that much more, like it's that much more brutal. You can see it here as well in ZVZ. I mean, in every mirror matchup. Less so in TVT, true. But Reynor sort of steps in, overwhelms the roaches, GG gets called, and Reynor puts a point on the board. GG. Whew. GG, well played again. Reynor with a greedier build, with a greater economy, with a faster base, with better saturation, leads into a larger army. And he just overwhelmed. He just A-moved across the map. Serral, he just could not keep up with the boosted economy that Reynor had. Remember, Serral, he could not punish it either. He tried to with drop lords, but by then it was too little. It was too little, too late. He was unable to deal enough damage. And with that, that leads us into game number 4. Let's go. We have a back and forth. And can Reynor bring us all the way to the ace match? Pressure's on. The pressure is still on, but Reynor does have momentum. Now, very quickly, I should also emphasize that that game of greed that we saw in Celestial is unique to Celestial Enclave, or it's unique to those types of maps. But there's only one in this map pool. It's only Celestial. You know, there's no like Radisson Station, for example, or any other, or Crimson Court, for example. Like, there's no other map like that here in the map pool. So we should be calming down as we load into one of the smallest maps in the map. Well, here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the finished Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing Basilisk, leading the series 2-1, and still one game away from claiming the series. It is a Serral. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Italian Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. Let's go. Let us go. As we are calming down, as we are going to be settling in. So far, standard openers. We should be seeing hatch gas pools, but welcome to Tourmaline. Tourmaline has a very short rush distance by ground, has a very accessible natural 3rd and 4th base, so this should lead into aggression. I would imagine like roach aggression, early timing attacks. We haven't actually seen any early Evo chamber play, which is very trendy in ZVZ, so I'm expecting maybe even that here, like an early roach warren or an early Evo chamber. So eyes are on our players. So far, everything's looking normal. So far. Here we go. And here we go. So far, hatch gas pool. From here, we should be seeing just standard Balian S timings. I don't imagine any of our players here is going to be skipping their Balian S, especially on Tourmaline. That'd be insane. So we should be expecting Balian S play into, of course, the 3rd base, and then into Ling Bane aggression. Is what we're expecting. So far, so good. If we see anyone skip their Balian S, we'll point that out. So likewise, our eyes are open for early Evo chambers as well, and early roach warrens, which we haven't seen yet in this series. Third base for Serral, 3rd base for Reynor. Serral, he will scout, he will confirm. So he can rule out 2 base roach. Serral does pull away. Oh. Pulls back, pulls away. Our players, they're building up and banking their gases. We have Serral going for his own Ling Flood. Here comes the Balian S. Meanwhile, where's Reynor's? Reynor, he has over 100 gas. Is he skipping the nest and going straight into roaches? Yeah, he is. Okay. Bold move. So it's going to be Ling Bane out of Serral. It's going to be pure Ling out of Reynor. Reynor, he is skipping his Bane nest. That's why he was banking up so much gas, and he's going straight Ling Roach. It's risky. It's risky to play Ling Bane without Bane. It's a... Ay. As the armies do clash, Serral, he did have the higher Ling count earlier. So Spy. Ooh, what did he see? Did see the Roach Warren. Okay, Serral's aware. So he's aware we have 14 more Lings on the way, and we need a handful of Banelings. It does need those Banelings. Roach Warren is now done. Serral does zone. But so far, Reynor, he's forcing the fights to be out on Serral's side of the map. He's getting away with his roaches. He's getting away with his greed. So this is a better turnout here for Reynor. He's in a better position. And Serral, yeah, he's going to be forced back. He's got his own roach warren on the way. He needs more time. Does need more time. This should be leading into an all-in, by the way. So Reynor, he cut workers early. We have 32 drones for Reynor. We have 36 drones for Serral. Serral, he also just took extra gases as well. So Serral, he has been droning. He's focusing on his economy. Meanwhile, Reynor is all in. Now, the reason why Reynor is getting a Baneling nest, it's hidden behind the main. He's hiding the fact that he's all in. He does need a couple of Banelings to make sure that he doesn't get surrounded. So they're going to be defending and protecting the roaches. And here comes Reynor. He's all in. Reynor, he has a supply lead. He's ahead. Reynor, he has 9 roaches at the current 0 of Serral. Serral, he needs more time for roaches. He has to bring his queens together as well. It's going to be a tough hold for Serral. And the all-in has arrived. Yeah, the all-in has arrived. Banelings, they try to zone away. Meanwhile, Reynor, he has zone defensive Banelings. They move in. Doesn't want to waste them. And he wants to keep them close to the chest. Keep them with the roaches. Yeah, it does break through into the natural. Massive alien connection. Not bad. Yeah, it breaks through the lings, but does he have enough here to break through the queens? It does waste them. Yeah, it does throw away those banelings. And Serral, he's holding. Oh, he's holding on. Reynor, he starts to drone up back at home. He admits defeat. Yeah, he admits he cannot kill. He cannot kill. And now Reynor, he's being outscaled. He had to end the game then and there. Ay. Reynor's backing off. Now, what's important here is that Reynor, he does take extra gases. He does drone up a little bit, but as you can see here, Reynor, he's not droning up any further. So he droned up to 34, so up to 34 workers. Made an extra 4 drones. Never mind, he's still droning. Oof. Yeah, he's still droning up. Ay. So Serral takes the lead. He's ahead. Stronger economy, building up his own roaches. And this is looking bleak here for Reynor. As again, Reynor, he was hoping he could maybe hit Serral just before the roach production, but the roaches, they arrived just in time. It was close, but they arrived just in time. And with that, both players are droning, they're saturating. Again, Serral's had a better economy for longer. No Eva chambers yet, and no lair either. I'm waiting to see any tech, to see if we ever commit. So far, no one flinches. No one is teching. Serral setting up his Baneling run by. His Waddle by. Both players just fixated on purely army production. And this can still go either way when it comes to the army clash. It can still come down to Baneling connections. As we're both hashtag all in. And here we go. Yeah, Reynor, he commits. As he moves out, Banelings move in. Is Reynor paying attention? Jesus, that's a lot of links here for Reynor. Banelings, they waddle into the mineral line. Reynor, he does react. He pulls away, only losing 2 drones. Good defense. And Serral, he has 3 defensive Banelings. Doesn't want to waste them. Yeah, Lings are coming from the right hand side. Banelings for Serral out of position. They're heading over. Nice connections. Yeah, they do connect. They shut down the Lings. Serral, he zones back the roaches. And Serral holds. Yeah, Serral, he's just going to completely shut this down here. Again, Reynor's initial all-in failed, and he just did not have enough. He couldn't keep going. And he will lose everything. He'll lose the entirety of the army here. The roaches, the Lings. He does kill 5 drones, which is nice. Oh! Files connect. Jesus. Yeah, files do connect. Serral, he's technically down in drones, but again, Serral, he's ahead when it comes to army. He has a massive supply lead. Behind this, going for +1 range. We can see Reynor going for a desperation counterattack. It's going to be deflected. Catching a queen, files on everything. And the army, the overlords. Oh, we got some nice defensive battles here out of Reynor. Oh god, but overlords are getting caught out. Serral, he deals with Ling run by. Here come the Ling reinforcements. And Serral, he has arrived. He's going to clean house, clean up everything here. Massive piles connect. GG gets called. Well played. And Serral, he will claim the series 3-1. Advancing on to the upper bracket semis. GG. Whew. GG, well played, Serral. He shuts down the all-in twice, actually, this game. Initially, I thought that Reynor could maybe pull it off. He went for the early roach timing. Remember, he skipped his banelings. He got away with it. He was able to move out across the map. But Serral's roaches, they popped out just in time. It was a very close, a very clutch defense there by Serral. And then he took a lead. From there, Reynor went for a secondary all-in. And if Serral was getting a lair, if he was getting upgrades, if Serral was droning up, then he would die. But Serral, he stayed on the low drone count, just like Reynor. He stayed on hatch tech just like Reynor, and that means that he just maintained his lead. He just maintained his lead, built up a larger army as a result. GG. We saw that Reynor, he had potential with the Ling flank, but Serral, he was able to rotate with his banelings. Did lose some drones, but he could afford to. He could afford to lose his workers. So with that, GG, well played. Serral does claim the series, and we have our top 4. We have our top 4 here at HomeStory Cup. Un momento, babbies. We do switch the scenes over and catch up on the bracket itself. Bam! We have the bracket, and we have Big Gabe. Big Gabe here in Marine. He took down Zound 3-2, went all the way to the ace match. That was a really long series. I do apologize, by the way, if I was a little bit low energy for the first series. I just woken up, and again, we had a lot of downtime in those games. We had a lot of late game, I should say, so I was a little bit out of it, so I do apologize. But I was able to pick back up for the other 3. For Showtime versus SOS, with Showtime to take 3-0, we had Clem taking down Lambo 3-0, and Serral taking down Reynor 3-1 as well. GG. GG, well played. We have a top 4. As a reminder, it is double elimination, but only for the top 4. So Zound, SOS, Lambo, and Reynor are out of the tournament. They are out. And in the end, we have a top 4. We have a Gabe, Clem, Showtime, and Serral. We have our top 4 players, and we are going to be continuing this group, or the playoffs are going to be continuing HomeStory Cup 28 tomorrow. These are pure best of 5s, by the way. Jesus. These are all best of 5s. We just wrapped up our first 4. Tomorrow we should be live with Gabe versus Showtime, with Clem versus Serral, and with the lower bracket semis as well. So we're going to have 3 best of 5s tomorrow, and then the day after that we're going to have the upper bracket finals, lower bracket finals, and then grand finals thereafter. We'll get there. We will get there. But otherwise, GG, well played. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. When it comes to the highlights for me, Clem versus Lambo game 1. Clem versus Lambo game 1 was very clutch and very intense. Showtime versus SOS was a very clinical series, very, very clinical. So if you're interested in that kind of PvP, you can check that out there as well. When it comes to builds, when it comes to openers, and when it comes to mind games as well, that was all around in that PvP. With Serral versus Reynor, we had something similar as well, but a little more aggressive, a little more active, with Reynor going for the 12 pool drone pool and a crazy clean defense out of Serral, and Reynor also going for the Ling flood in game 1 and getting ahead and taking a lead there. So we did have a bit of a back, or trying to at least. So we did have a bit of a back and forth. A game of greed on Celestial, true, did have a game of greed. But GG, well played. And with that, we're going to be wrapping up. For the time being. When it comes to the rest of our schedule, bam, you can see our schedule here before you. We are on Saturday morning broadcast. We just wrapped up with HomeStory Cup. You can see that tomorrow morning we have our next broadcast of HomeStory Cup. So again, it's been Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. 4 days, 5 days, even 5 days straight of HomeStory Cup. Later on this evening at 7 p.m. KST, that is going to be 9 p.m. AEST, that will be in 6.5 hours. 6.5 hours. We're going to be live once again with Master Swan Open. That is our monthly amateur tournament for Masters players. We also have Sparkling Tuna Cup tomorrow at that same time. That is our weekly open tournament. So if you want to compete yourself in a more Masters amateur scenario, or if you want to tune into the open StarCraft and even play yourself as well, we will have that over the weekend in 6.5 hours. 6.5 hours. And tomorrow as well. So plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft. Again, a very busy week catching up with HomeStory Cup. Next week we're going to be catching up with Lily. Little League Cup is going to be next week as well, so a lot of content, a lot of StarCraft. There's been a lot going on. Again, the reason why we have all this catching up to do is because January was very lean for us. We were unavailable. Unfortunately, we were just unavailable. There were some things happening IRL, so we could not cast as much during January, so we've been catching up in February, and we almost have. We're almost there. We've been catching up with HomeStory Cup, with Thunderfire, Rongi Cup, Pegasaur Cups, What TV Mondays, what else, with Little League Cup as well. Like, there's just a lot of tournaments we've been catching up on. StarCraft Evolution League, we have to catch up on that. We have to catch up on Code for Giants Cup as well. There's so yeah, there's a lot to catch up on, which and we will eventually, by the time we get into March, we'll get there. What a defense by the boys. Crazy defense. Might be crazy. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Stick around, as we're going to be giving another StarCraft stream a raid. Before that happens, if you want to support us, you can do so via Patreon. !Patreon in the chat. Our Patreon does fund our tournaments. So Masters on Open, which is tonight, Sparkling Tuna Cup, which is tomorrow. These events are funded via Patreon. So if you want to help us grow those tournaments and support the players even further, you can do so via Patreon. You can do so. Otherwise, you can follow us on all the socials. !Socials in the chat. We have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Discord, all things CranKy Ducklings. I do recommend checking out our YouTube channel, as we do upload on YouTube on a daily basis. We cast all the time, so I'm sure there are things here that might interest you that you didn't get to watch live. You know, HomeStory Cup, the Pondcast, Tuna Cups, Thunderfire as well. We had the Legacy Legend show matches with MMA and Innovation, DRG, Oliveira as well. We had some amazing content, amazing StarCraft. It's all there on YouTube if you missed it. Otherwise, thanks for watching. And we'll see you guys in 6.5 hours. I'm gonna go get some breakfast and have a nap and, and try to rest up and get ready for tonight. I won't be casting tonight, bear that in mind. I will not be casting, but I will be adminning. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Stick around. Who's live at the moment? Who is live? Let's see. We'll find someone to send everyone over to. Give them some love, give them some support. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time. Ciao, bye, ciao. See you next time. Hasta luego.